Welcome to Back of the Rack, a gaming video cast about games long neglected and not respected, games that everyone's heard of and hated, or no one's heard of and loved. We play the games in between the essentials here, but mostly we play what we want on this podcast.
You can watch us on YouTube, which we consider to be the optimal way to experience our content, or listen to us in podcast form wherever podcasts are available. Make sure to like and comment on our videos and leave good reviews for podcast feeds. It helps us out and is the fuel that keeps us going. We hope everyone watching and listening is doing great, and we thank you for joining us today. I'm Bendezzer, and with me as always is Sondi. Sondi, how are you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. I have my favorite thing now. We have a Discord because you guys got us. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our heart to 100 subscribers. That's unprecedented. Honestly, I didn't expect us to hit 100 this fast. It's been a year, but
yeah.
Still,
yeah, it was a very slow start, and
for what we do,
I mean, exactly for what we do and all the other podcasts out there, definitely very slow. I think Sondi, you wanted to make the Discord way earlier, and I was like, can we just wait until we get 100 subscribers on YouTube? And,
please,
so
as soon as we hit 100, I immediately just got it typing. So if you want to join. We talk about shit. You can talk to us personally. We're going to spoil whatever the next game is, so you can hop in, talk with us, play with us as we talk. We'll be chatting it out in that Discord, so you can see all of our discourse as we go along with the process. I don't know what I was about to say recording process, but this is recording right now.
Yeah, well, I think what we'll do is we'll probably announce the game so that in Discord, people who want to play along with us before that episode of that game is released can do so. That way there can be discussion about hey guys, I'm at this part, where are you guys at? And that way there can be a little bit of build up for when we do release the Back of the Rack episode that is about that game.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited about it. We have Chris Gildart, which was one of our guests from last episode.
Yeah.
And that episode has done really well. A lot of that I attribute to him, but we're getting more people discovering our channel and our podcast. And Sean is in the Discord. So.
Oh, yeah. He's
so we have...
It's funny, he's 6 hours away. And when I was in Europe, I was like, this is how Sean feels. Talking to nobody at 3 a.m.
Yeah, no one on the west side, on the western side. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting. But Sondi, some things have changed about our lives, or rather, we've experienced some new things. And I want to ask you, and I want you to tell the audience how your trip to Italy was, because you recently got back, man. Yeah. That's exciting. There's people in the U.S. and all over the world, really, that never see outside of their town, let alone state or country, so at continent in this regard. So you have ascended to the traveling elite, we'll say.
The traveling elite. It was cool because we were supposed to go 3 years ago, but the thing happened and it got postponed until now, and it was very interesting. So you did the trifecta, as they call it in Italy, which is Rome, Florence, Venice, and I don't know really what to say, but it's a lot of old buildings and history and architecture, and the churches, there's gold and murals and statues and busts everywhere. It's a lot of that. It's very dirty too. It's a lot of trash everywhere, but no bugs, which is really weird. No flies, nothing. It's just weird.
I wonder if it has anything to do with how close it is to the
water and the climate.
Yeah,
because it wasn't it was high. It was 95 degrees, but it wasn't I got off the plane and it was 75 here, and I was like, oh my god, because of the humidity. There's no humidity, but it was fun. After a while, I kind of was okay, I get it. Romans, churches, the Pope,
yeah, there's a lot of rich history there, man. I would love. In school, I feel I never really appreciated world history and how important it is, and especially like in that region, you know, in Italy, with, you know, Rome and all that stuff, Pompeii, you know, just things of all that. I mean, Mussolini's dictatorship, like there's like so much history that's just on that continent, and you know, every continent has its rich history, but something you don't really appreciate, and then you go to it.
I think the Sistine Chapel, the Sistine Chapel, going in there, I think that was like the moment where I was like, oh shit, this is history right here. Like this is the shit right here. And like when you go in, you can't, because it's still a sacred holy ground. Like they prayed when we were in there and everything like that. And like, so there's no phones, you can't speak, you can't like no recording, because I think Japan owns the rights to it, because so only the Japanese can like record for like the time, because they like restored it, something weird like that. They had the tour guide kind of explained it. And when you go in, I'm staring and I'm like, actually, because I'm like, oh shit, this is really, so I'm like staring around, and like the guy on the mic is like some police officer, he's like, silence, no phones, no video, this is a sacred place, silence, like every 5 minutes. And I'm just staring at the ceiling like, oh shit, they're touching hands, hello. And people didn't listen, they were screaming and yelling and babies crying and taking photos still. So it's weird things like that. There's no black people out there except for African street peddlers, so it's so funny, like white people would see me and like kind of get out my way because they thought I was a street peddler. But I wasn't, so it was like, that's kind of classic, because I don't like people. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a very extroverted introvert. Like if I fuck with you, I'm an extrovert to you, but like in terms of like crowds, I hate crowds. I hate walking through people. And like Europeans, they don't know, like, you know how like Americans were like bred to like stay on the right side of the hallway. Somebody's coming, you're on the right side, they're on the right side, you don't touch each other. So like Italians, they try to like do hezzies and cross you up. Like you'll be walking and they'll be like, which way? And I'm like, nigga, just go to the right. Like I'm going to the right. And then they'll just cut, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, but I liked it. I walked around Florence by myself for like 6 hours in the morning, got to like the not touristy spot and just like witnessed everyday life. I sat in an Indian restaurant, ate Indian food in Italy. And then Venice was really cool. I walked off a lot, but you got to go through boats, so it's very weird. But it's very surreal.
The sinking city.
Yeah, and especially because at night, like the water levels were like getting over, like splashing into the buildings. Like it's crazy to see, and you're like, you guys just have wet socks all the time, and they just wear boots year round. And you like, I was walking to go get some wine, and the water's like literally splashing me, and my jeans are wet, and it's just like splashing up against the door. And he's just like, come in, it's okay, come in. Yeah, it's a very surreal feeling.
That's actually, I wish you would have took some pictures about that. I know I was hounding you about taking video or pictures, because I wanted to see. I'm like, that's so cool, you know. I don't personally know anybody who's gone to Italy, so that's why I was like, I want to see first-hand account. Yeah, I mean, granted, I could just go to YouTube and like look Venice walkthrough. Yeah, you know.
And I like to take like artistical like photography photos of like the statues and like the scenery and stuff like that, because that's what I'm here for. I'm not here for the people. Right. And I hate people that go places to take pictures of themselves to show that they've been places instead of enjoying the place. So I only took one photo of myself the whole time I was out there, and the rest I was just taking of like the city, taking pictures of gypsies, taking pictures of the floor, the buildings and stuff like that, because the architecture and just the way that they live is just so cool. I fuck with it.
Yeah. Something that also passed recently that was sort of a big deal was your birthday. So happy belated birthday.
Oh, yeah, damn, this has been that long?
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
That's crazy, bro. We recorded the last podcast in January 31st.
Don't say your birthday. Yeah. So wait, how old are you now?
25 exact.
25.
Yeah,
Fuck.
finally I'm 25.
So you can stop lying.
So I
out
can
your
stop
mouth.
rounding up. So now I'm going to round up to 26 from here on out.
Oh. So I don't remember asking you, but what did you end up doing for your birthday?
I became old. My back,
Your bones started to creak.
yeah, my back popped out for some reason. I pulled my back, so I was in bed the whole like birthday weekend. I got this Claritin here because apparently I have a seafood allergy now, and I broke out in hives.
Oh.
And so yeah,
What?
I ate some.
Are those both true? Those both the back thing and the Claritin?
That happened back to back. Like right, like I got my back together. Then I was like, oh shit, man, knees wobbly, and then ate some sea bass with my grandfather, and then immediately broke out in the hives. Throat was closing, freaking out. Went to the emergency room. They stabbed me up, and they were like, yeah, you're probably allergic to that. Whatever you just ate, you're probably allergic to it, but we can test. And I was like, I can't test. I'm going to Italy in 3 days. What do you mean? And they're like, okay, just don't eat any seafood the whole trip and come back. But I was still breaking out. Like I'm still kind of sort of breaking out into like hives, like unless I take the Claritin. So like I have to like take that or else I like fuck up. At first I thought it was like laundry. I was like, there's gotta be laundry detergent. But then I was like, look, my throat. Like it immediately was like, so
wow.
Yeah, it's I've learned how you feel.
No, I actually, it's funny you mentioned back problems. I recently, me and Elise, which is my girlfriend, we had planned to go to like a resort nearby for like a staycation. And 2 days before, I like threw out my back somehow. I've had like notorious back problems. Usually they're all manageable and bearable, but like I was stiff as a board. Like I could not like move. Like I was just like, oh my God, like if I turned, it hurt so much. And with the staycation coming up, I was like, great, I'm gonna be in pain the whole time. So I went to like a couple of chiropractors to get adjusted, and it relieved some of the pain, but then like the muscles were bruised from just the way that I was moving, so I had a different kind of pain. I was like, yeah, getting old sucks. Yeah. But I will say that I did something impressive. So when we went to the resort for the staycation, I bought a 12-pack of beer. Right?
You crushed a whole pack?
We were there for 2 days, so I just had 6 each day. But I was pretty impressed with myself because I didn't get like a gnarly ass a hangover.
Oh yeah, because you're notorious for that. You'll be like, yeah, let's record the podcast this week. Get hungover and be like, I can't this weekend.
I cannot. No, yeah, my hangovers are usually pretty bad. But I think because I was eating properly, I was spacing out the beer, each drink.
Yeah.
So it was good.
That's good. What else have you been up to? We haven't. It's been like months, but I keep lying to them. It's been like 3 weeks.
Wait, when was your birthday?
April 11th.
Yeah, so it's been about a month and a half, or maybe a month and a half, 2 months, which is kind of long for us because we talk. Well, we talk every day, but
yeah, we don't video chat every day. That would be kind of. Well, it's all your fault. You're in the Discord. I'd be in the voice. You're in the group Discord. You can hop in the voice chat. You just don't.
When? What? When?
Anytime. I'd be in there chilling. I'd be talking about shit. I'd just be in there and.
Oh, I thought you meant like voice chat, like because I remember there was one time where some of your friends had were screen sharing something, and I jumped in and I was just like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're always screen sharing. If it's a sports game, boxing, MMA match, movies, they just be streaming movies in there. Like they be streaming their League of Legends games. They just be doing shit in there. I just be hopping in and just talking and then leaving and after 20 minutes just to show I'm still here.
It was on my phone too, so I don't know specifically like what if they could hear me. I didn't really say anything, but I was like, maybe I shouldn't be on this. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I don't know these niggas like that.
They gonna roast me. They gonna be like, get this old bobblehead ass nigga out of here.
I didn't know what I was like. What the fuck are they gonna? I don't know. It was weird, but yeah. So, what has been going on? Oh, Doctor Strange came out. I saw that.
That did come out.
We talked about that. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. Elise was super excited about it, and she ended up not liking it as much, which is sort of interesting. I think maybe, I don't know if it was because the movie leaned so heavily on Wanda Maximoff for Scarlet Witch, and like Doctor Strange was almost like not the star in his own movie or something. I don't know, but I really liked it. I really had fun with it. I thought it was leagues better than the critically acclaimed
Spider-Man. I do say that.
No,
it's because it
No
like
Way Home.
leaned. It was so different. Like, it's just because Sam Raimi was like, yeah, I'm gonna be the director of a Marvel movie, but I'm not gonna follow the Marvel formula. I'm gonna make this a horror movie. I'm gonna make the camera move. I'm gonna do practical effects and shots. Like, it
was way funner.
It felt more
Visually,
alive.
too.
It felt like Spider-Man 4 in a weird way. Like the very first intro scene when America was like, and like the rocks are falling. It reminded me of like Aunt May in Spider-Man 2. Or
I was about to. Yeah, I was like, I feel like I haven't seen Doctor Strange just be a hero. Like when he's at the wedding,
he's always dealing with some catastrophic shit. Like he's never like just all right, I'm gonna feel the killers.
I love. Yeah, like just that whole scene of him like saving, America Chavez from the octopus monster or whatever.
Yeah,
like that just felt like every day, like life in the day of, which I love in superhero movies. And I don't know, so it grounded him more, I would say. It was cool. But at least she said that there was some bad CG and stuff like that, which I didn't notice. I was like, she said there's some shoddy visual effects. It's funny because I'm a huge visual effects person, so I'm always the first to be like, that looks fucking amazing, or that looks like off or whatever. But recently she's been getting this.
Oh damn, you're rubbing off on her.
Yeah, she's far more critical than me. Like the She-Hulk trailer, she's like, that looks terrible.
Oh yeah, I thought
like,
the same
She-Hulk
thing. I was
terrible.
like, this doesn't look good at all. I need her to not be like, She-Hulk.
I was sort of just like, it's the TV show. Like I feel like all the CG in these shows have looked a little off. So
yeah, same with Moonlight. Moonlight was like bad.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's the TV show. Like it looks a little off, but I don't know. People, and then they apparently went back and updated or changed some of the effects for it because everyone was complaining that it looked bad. So
now she's gonna look like bad Sonic. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which was funny because it's like, why don't you guys just do that the first time?
Yeah.
If like it was like, oh, people noticed that we were being lazy. Let's go back and polish it up.
Yes, let's hire 200 more people, I guess.
Just for the loud minority.
But this is also a very special episode. I don't know why we paused. Why did we pause right there?
I thought you were gonna say something.
But it's because it's the season finale. It is the final episode. We're doing 6 episodes a season. I'm sorry you guys got it all in the beginning of the year. You guys got like a big little chunking and a chunk right afterwards. But
right,
I think you guys are going to enjoy the next season. We're trying our best to improve, take criticism. So I want you guys to yell at us and being like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. And, put that in the comments so we can work together. We always say we want criticism. We want you guys to talk with us and stuff like that. And you guys have started doing that. So thanks.
Yeah, our last episode, we got some feedback. Our last episode really put us like it got a lot of views, and at least for our channel, and we got a lot of subscribers from it, a lot of engagement. There was one guy specifically who
I can't pronounce your name because it's in Russian.
Yeah, it's like a Russian name, and but he was like going through and actually commenting like on almost everything we were saying, and like
I really appreciate
wishing that we had and he was wishing that we had gone more into that. Apparently we didn't talk much about Warriors Orochi and talked more about other Warriors games.
Yeah, I realized that on like rewatching, because like when you're editing and like then I have like a edit watch and then like I actually sit down like let's watch this, and I was watching and I was like, this is kind of sort of just like our love letter. Like this is just genuinely a Koei cast of us just like yeah, man. Like, I love this game. I love this game. This is what I love about Musou games. Like, it was, but we needed that. We needed that release.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to think about it because I didn't watch it after I edited it, which maybe I should have to get that sense. Because I feel like when you're editing it, you're hyper focused.
Yeah.
But like when you're just watching it, you can just just objectively see the whole piece. So, yeah, maybe he was right. But I mean, we did the whole, you know, like developer facts, like we usually do. We did the whole, you know, story presentation, gameplay. Like, what else would you want us to talk about?
But to be fair, Warriors Orochi is also, it's not much to talk about. It's like, okay, yeah, they combine both games, boom, boom, boom. And once you start talking about that, especially because it's such an older title, and like the Warriors games improve each game. So it's kind of like, we're also jaded that we've played most, if not all, of the Koei games leading up. So it's like Warriors Orochi 1, we were all kind of feeling like, and then Samurai Warriors 5 came out before then. We were playing other Musou games, so it's kind of like
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was just very, it was sort of bare bones. I guess we could have gone more into specific things, but it would have made the podcast longer, and I wanted to pick Chris's brain about other, like, you know, just other elements of the Warriors series because we had him. I mean, I didn't know if we were gonna have him on the podcast again. I didn't know if after this episode, he was
gonna
just
be like, fuck y'all.
Yeah, no, but he's been really active, and I think we're gonna have him on at some point for another
Warriors Orochi 2.
We'll just go down the list. I think maybe we should do like Mystic Heroes or something. I don't know.
Oh man. No, we can't do it. We gotta save it. That's gotta be like our button. Like, we gotta have like a in case of emergency, and then just Mystic Heroes. That and
that's
Warriors All Stars.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, Warriors are. That's sort of like a back the rack black sheep of the series. We could do even the only Sengoku Basara that's in the States, the first one. Sengoku Basara, Samurai Heroes.
Don't give me hope, because I really I fuck with that game so much. Like, it's so amazing. But like,
that's what got me into.
Oh,
like,
that's
that
the
whole...
Oh yeah, you did say that. That was your Musou, and weed. That was your weed.
The gateway. That was the gateway.
That was your gateway drug.
Yeah. A couple things I want to get through here. I wanted to ask you. So recently, since Warriors Orochi and since we finished this title, I've sort of been in a free fall of like nothing's been capturing my attention to play as far as video games, right?
Thank you for mentioning.
I've been hopping all over the place. I'm like, I just like, part of me was like, do I need to take a break from video games? Do I just need to like, a lot of my thought was, I feel like the mystique of video games is being lost. I think one of the things I like about when I'm playing a game is like not just discovering it on my own, not knowing like what I'm going to get into, and it feeling like, you know, like a special experience, which I feel like is a lot of the games that we play here, because sometimes we just pick games that are just so random. We just look at the covering. No one talks about it. Yeah, so there's no overexposure, there's no overhype about the game.
And we
play it.
Try our best not to look at shit. We don't research until after we're done playing and we're about to start recording.
Yeah. Yeah, to kind of, yeah. So I think that's helped. And yeah, like I was trying to jump in and finish Tales of Arise, and I was like people have said that it's too long and that the bosses are really like hard and spongy and like and all this, and it just kind of like destroyed my want to finish it. I jumped back in for maybe like 2-3 hours, and I'm like, God, this combat, like I just couldn't, like I just don't like it. Like I was playing it and I was just like, I was hate playing it, like hate fucking
it might have
hate playing.
You know, it might have the same like situation that like, that's how I felt with Scarlet Nexus. Like I felt like Scarlet Nexus would have been great if it was like a 12-hour game instead of a 40-hour game. And like after a while, that like super actiony, super flashy effect combat, after a while, because that's the issue, is that they just, instead of making the enemies more engaging to where I have to start dodge rolling or doing certain different type of mechanics or comboing different moves, instead they just make them spongier. And it gets annoying because, like, okay, I'm doing the same flashy moves again and again and again and again to kill basic enemies. It makes you feel like you're not doing shit for real. And then you think, oh my god, I got another 20 hours of this shit.
That's Tales of Arise, like, the combat is flashy and you're just doing the same shit, and even on auto, like, which I put it on full auto, and I just, like, you know, was activating some of the skills. I'm just like, this is just, I don't know if I want to finish it. Like, I love walking around. I think the walking animations and stuff, like, combat feels good, like when you're hitting things and stuff, but it just gets so repetitive, and I don't know.
You're like me, man.
Maybe
Games
I'm gonna
are too
drop
long,
it to
man.
easy. I might just try, because the story is really interesting. Like, it's really cool, especially because it has to do with well, I think it revolves around slavery mostly, and I've been reading a book about the history of slavery, and I don't know if they've gotten some inspiration from that, but there's a lot of aspects that they seem to be implementing in some of those things to give different perspectives on slavery and just humankind's pursuit of freedom and the cost of freedom and the consequences, rather, of freedom. Because people think freedom as, like, a good thing, but there are, you know, sacrifices, you know. But so it's really interesting, and it's really well done. So maybe I just might finish that. But I was playing Mud Runner, which I'll just put on a podcast and just drive around, get through that fucking mud. I actually saw
it in Italy. I saw one of the Mud Runner trucks on, like, the side of the fucking mountain, and I was like, I was pointing to Devin. I was like, look, it's the fucking thing. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, look at the fucking truck. And a bunch of Choro Q trucks and stuff running around. I was like, yo.
And no pictures to prove it. Yeah, so I guess I wanted to ask you, sort of, like, do you think this interconnected age we live in with, like, social media, do you think that it sort of destroys the mystique of games? Like, we can never really have those moments back in, like, 2003 where, like, you picked up a game and no one around you really knew about it, and you just played it, and even if you went online, you wouldn't, like, find things on, you know what I mean? Like, there was, like, some forum maybe,
or maybe a game facts, cheats, and FAQ, but that's it.
But it really, like, it left you in the blind, and so there was a lot more self-discovery in that game and the way you engaged with it. I feel like social media takes that away, but I wanted to know what you thought, if that, like...
No, I can definitely
like,
agree.
Especially Twitter.
Yeah,
like,
especially
Twitter,
if a new game comes out, man, you're gonna see everything. But, like, Elden Ring, that was, like, one of those things where I realized, like, as a community, as a culture, even in general, everybody's becoming meta. And this applies to films, like we were just talking about Marvel movies. They have a meta to how they are going to do. The villains, you know how they're going to be, you know how the story is going to be, you know they're going to have jokes, you know how the camera work is going to be, you know how the special effects is going to be, you know how the story is going to progress. Same situation with gaming in general. Like, I've always played Yu-Gi-Oh since toddler, since Snotty Nose, since it first came out in America. And while I haven't actively collected, like, I do have a lot of cards, but I don't have, like, a deck. I'm trying to go to locals, but at the same time, like, I'm discouraged because of what I've seen. Like, I've played Yu-Gi-Oh online, even when, like, on Dueling Network, when you had to, like, manually do it and call in, like, another guy to be like, hey, judge, did he do something illegal? Like, I played Yu-Gi-Oh throughout the year, so I know it, and I've seen how it progressed. But, like, Master Duel, and it might just be because of, like, how the games progress. Like, you only have ranked. There's no casual matchmaking. So, like, everybody's playing try hard. So when I'm playing, I play an Ancient Warriors deck. Koei Cast, not sponsored. It's like a deck completely based off of Romance of the Three Kingdoms characters and stuff like that. And I'm going up against the same 3 if that decks. It's the same. It's Destiny Hero, Sword Soul, maybe Eldritch, and it's like, okay, after a while it's fun because you're like, oh, this is the meta, I'm gonna beat it. I'm non-meta, I'm gonna try to beat it, and then you do. But after you play those decks again and again and again, and I'm doing hundreds of duels, so it's like, you know how boring that is to do this, they see the same shit over and over again. And I feel like Elden Ring, I saw that when people are being like, this is the best spells, this is the build you should go so that you can maximize this weapon. Like, everybody uses Moonveil, everybody uses this OP weapon for this patch or something like that. Like, people, us as a gaming phenomenon, I don't know if it's because of League of Legends, I don't know if it's because of World of Warcraft or MMOs and the rise of MMOs, but like, even single player games, even just regular game, like, I found myself, and this is a very good topic, even with this game, I found myself making a meta by accident in my head of being like, okay, I'll talk about it when we get to the game, but I found myself doing things that like would be meta in a sense, and like, I've always tried to unjade my mind from that meta construct because it ruins games a lot of the times. Like, trying to think of a game that we've played recently, like, that's like a recent release.
Yeah, the newest game I've played was
Horizon, right?
Yeah, Horizon Zero Forbidden West was the most recent.
Yeah, Elden Ring will probably be
I stayed away from I haven't been on Twitter since like that game came out, because I was like, I think I'm better
off
just psychologically. Yeah. Because it's just like people saying like, oh, this is, oh, here,
if you do this side quest, you get this reward. If you do this, you get this.
Yeah. And maybe there's people that like grow up and like that interconnectivity of like, hey, we're basically playing all the same game together. Let's experience everything together. Show me your screenshots. Show me your video clips. I want to see it as I'm playing it. I don't mind. I love it. But I don't know. For me, I feel like it takes away like that.
The allure.
Like, let me discover this digital world on my own. Let me trial and error shit, but it's just in your face, this overexposed. I wrote here that I think that
it doesn't help that gaming publications also do, like, as soon as a game release, day 2, they're like, this is the guide and this is the best way to farm this is the best way to get this is the best armor in the game, and you're like, bruh, this is fucking Donkey Kong Country 3. Like, why do you have a meta guide for this for?
I remember with Red Dead, I got a lot of my coworkers into it, Red Dead 2, and the conversation immediately turned into like, oh yeah, I went to this one house on the map and I could just like do infinity gold spam essentially to get me like all this gold, just breaking the game.
Yeah, like, how is that fun? It's a single player game. Like, why is that fun?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I keep doing it. He's like teaching everybody. I'm like,
why would you do this?
Isn't that like immersion breaking? Like, don't you just kind of like, oh, like, I mean, one, you take away any incentive you have to earn gold naturally, which I feel like the designers like, oh, we want people to do this and this to earn gold so that when they buy something, it means something. But if you're just like, let me just go fucking break the game entirely and just get all this gold and just buy the best weapon on like within the first hour, it's like, why?
Yeah, because there's not going to be no challenge the rest of the game. And now you're like, oh, that game was easy. That shit wasn't even all that for real. It's like, no, it's because you meta the fun out of the game. And now it's like, how am I supposed to have fun?
Yeah, I don't know. And even just like, people could be like, oh, well, why don't you just not do that then? Why don't you just ignore it? It's like, but just knowing that people are doing that and like knowing that, just hearing that knowledge. Yeah, just almost like just takes you out of it by proxy.
And then it doesn't help that like when you like now you're actively trying to do that, but you have habits and things that you do in your own gaming things that you have to break because it's a meta thing to do, like doing all the side quests before you go to the next main quest, or
Yeah.
exploring the whole map once a new region is available and collecting all the resources. And now you got too much resources, or not using potions because you're like, I
Yeah.
don't know when I need to use this potion. I'm level 73. It doesn't even heal enough HP. Like, it's just small shit that you do. And even if you do, like, in terms, especially with multiplayer games, even if you try to be non-meta, you will probably not have fun because you're either playing against the meta, which will become boring and monotonous and tedious because you're playing the same shit, or
Yeah.
you lose. And it's not fun when you lose games. It's just in general, like, the only game that people like losing in is Dark Souls, and that's only because of the catharsis of when you win, it
Gluttons.
feels good.
Right. Right. Because it feels earned sometimes, and yeah, that's, I don't know. Like when you first played Sonic Adventure 2, I wonder how much less it would have been a staple or an influence in your life had the internet, or had somebody, a group of friends, or yeah, maybe just more of the internet, like expose all the secrets. They expose to you, like, hey, it has the best soundtrack. Like, here's the soundtrack outside of the context of the game.
No, you're right on that,
He,
because I can't, like, my favorite part about Sonic Adventure 2 is the Chow Garden. Like, I assume with a lot of people with Sonic Adventure 2, a lot of your playtime after you beat the game, because you can beat the game in a day, but like a lot of your playtime goes towards the Chow Garden, replaying stages, finding secret animals to give to your child to raise them, and that whole Tamagotchi-esque like experience of raising a child. But as a kid, I would literally go through stages, and I would go through tail stage, shoot all the monsters, collect only the green orbs, and then bring them back and give my child one green orb each, and then run back out and do it again. And I keep doing that over and over and over and over until I got its speed to whatever I wanted it to be. But as I got older, I found out there's glitches. Like, you could, if you put the egg or the animal in front of your chow, like a little bit in front of it, and drop it, then the chow will use it, but it won't use that because you can only use it one time. So it would use the animal or the drive and then not go away. So you can keep doing that so that you can keep getting those benefits without having to do the stage over and over and over again. You would just feed your child, feed your child, feed your child, feed your child, feed your child. And then you got your child. It just hatched 10 minutes ago and it's already level 99 speed. Meanwhile,
yes.
that took me a month to get
Yep.
this nigga to 99 speed. And like, you're sitting there like, why isn't he evolving? He has 99 speed. It's like, bruh, because he's 5 minutes old. My child was
Yeah.
evolving with level 5 speed because I was running and running and doing it the intended way as a little kid, because I didn't
Yeah.
know about glitches and, oh, if I hatch this child and put it together and breed this child, it'll make this child and I could do this. Like, I didn't know none of that shit. I just played the game.
Yeah. You just, yeah, exactly. You kind of just played it as it was intended, which is sort of like the unique things about games versus film, where it's like you can't really break a film. You have to sit there and like just you're along for the ride. I mean, you can skip the intro. You can skip like the ending,
You can be
but
like,
you can't really like, I'm a fast forward through this part, and if I fast forward 3 times and then hit pause, I can skip it and then I'll get the same
I'll
effect.
get the secret
Like,
ending that's actually
yeah,
better than
like,
the original ending.
no, it's manipulating art in a really interesting way. And that's what, I don't know, like a lot of people do compare film and games, but I think that games are on a whole different level than just film on itself, just because like there's a different dimension, and that is that you, the person, people interact with it directly,
Right.
and so that affects every part of it. So I don't know, it's just really,
That's why I like Detroit Become Human or Until Dawn is an interesting conundrum, because
yeah, try
it's,
breaking those games.
yeah, it's like, it's a film. You could meta it and look up a guide and be like, how do I make sure everybody survives to get this particular
Right.
ending? But the fun part about Detroit, even watching people play Detroit, like I just watched RDC World play through Detroit. Horrible playthrough. They was fucking up. They wasn't doing shit. But I mean, because my playthrough, I like was completely different. I had a completely different ending with all the characters. So like watching them play,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's what would happen if you fucked that up? Huh.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool because no matter what you do, it's still like, okay, because it feels like a film. but
Right.
it's more interactive. But it's like, okay, whatever path I go, there's no meta, there's no right way to end the game.
There's I recently I've been on a Diablo kick. I've been playing Diablo a lot, and like there's two reasons I think why we might play games, and that's maybe the incentive of getting something. Maybe that's like the primary reason, because your incentive is good gear. If I beat this boss, I'm going to get good gear to essentially buff up my character for the next level. Or there's the incentive of cutscenes. I want to know what happens in the story. The incentive of story, essentially. I want to move the plot. I want to know what happens to these characters. I'm only getting through. This is why, like in a lot of more recent games, the term easy, like when you're changing difficulties, it just says like story for people who want to like just enjoy the story. Like it doesn't say like for bitches who can't play the game on normal.
For old heads
like,
that can't fucking DP command grab.
Yeah, it's like story. It's like that's the new easy mode, So I don't know. It's kind of just interesting how that works, and I feel like this topic leads perfectly into a lot of our issues with this month's game, which is Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. Cue trailer.
The world of Middle-earth is changing, for a great evil has arisen in the east that threatens all of Middle-earth. War is soon to come to our time. This realm is far more dangerous than you can imagine.
Gather and get ready.
Watch out! Fall back! Fall back! Never! Move! Quickly! We must master our fear.
Send these foul beasts into the abyss! Join us in our quest. Become our champion. Face the power of Mordor and help to turn the tide.
Yeah, let's talk about how we were first exposed to this game. And you know what? Actually, I do want to have you guys, like everybody listening, I want you guys to sort of put in what game you think that the internet ruined for you, either while you were playing it, before you played it, after you played it. What game did the internet fucking just I don't like this game anymore because of the internet now, because of social media.
Damn, I'm a comment too, because now you got me thinking. It's gonna hit me like soon as we finish the podcast. I'm like,
there's a lot, and I feel like it really affects me jumping into. I mean, Elden Ring. That was something that had a lot of mystique towards it, And I know we just did the trailer for Lord of the Rings, for Lord of the Rings, but like I had a lot of mystique around it, and then people immediately disassembled and dismantled the art piece in front of you.
yeah, because that's the best part.
I'm not
about
interested
it,
in it at all.
Yeah,
when you don't know.
Because
Exactly.
the best part,
Discovery.
like I getting it at launch, was that I could just play the game and like look at like a town and be like, "What the fuck is that?" And then go to it and be like, "Oh shit!" And then it was like a good week period of like talking with friends and be like, "Yo, did you see that giant dragon over there?" And they're like, "There's a what over where? I haven't even gone to that area." And you're like, "What?" Or you like show them like, "Hey, bro, look at my character." And they're like, "What the fuck shield is that?" And you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
my bad. I'm sorry." But that was gone after a week. Everybody
Yeah.
knew everything.
Yeah, it gets, you sort of dismantle the illusion that the artists build up. The immersion is lost, which Lord of the Rings, the Third Age,
That also fits perfectly into
I can't wait to get into that. So the first time I sort of experienced or was exposed to this game, I was in middle school, and I remember this game reminds me of like barbecues.
barbecues.
Because so check this out. This is my little like history with it.
What?
So like, I'm in middle school. I'm just getting into like really deep into games and figuring out what I like. Turn-based RPGs have always been like my favorite. So when I saw that there was a Lord of the Rings turn-based RPG, I was like, what? You know, and I picked it up thinking that it was going to be like the Two Towers or like Return of the King. You know, those two like beat 'em up licensed games that came out by EA, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was super surprised and thought it was like the coolest fucking thing that it was like a turn-based system. It felt like so like I don't know, it just felt like so brand new to me. I was like, "Whoa, I love the like yes." And it also called back a moment in my life when I played Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets on I want to say PS2, maybe PS1, I can't remember. But the Game Boy version of that was a turn-based.
What the
Chamber of
fuck?
Secrets on Game Boy was turn-based Harry Potter
What the fuck? I never knew that.
with leveling up, and it was so fucking badass to me. So like it was just doubly like, yes, like I want more turn-based shit like this. And I played this game extensively through like on Saturdays when my mom would have barbecues. Like she would have, you know, like just be grilling meat or whatever out in the back, and she would have some friends over, and I would just be in my room and I would just be fucking playing this fucking RPG.
Same mustache and,
remember,
everything in middle school.
And I remember like eating you know, meats and like, you know, like chips, burgers and shit while playing this game.
Lemon spread and stuff.
Lembas bread, fucking, which is like corn breath from Middle Earth. But yeah, like so it really took me back just playing it. And I didn't beat it back then, and I didn't beat it now. Let me tell you right now. But a lot of that mystique was immediately like, you know, cut down a couple pegs. Playing it as an adult, I feel like no one really talked about this game, even when I was younger and growing up. I didn't hear a lot of people like, "Oh yeah, I remember that Lord of the Rings turn-based game." Like,
yeah,
I feel like it just went from those beat 'em up Return of the King, Two Towers games straight to Shadow of Mordor and War, like that genre.
Yeah, because Conquest came out and nobody cared.
Like, so yeah, which is a game we might have to do. Maybe we'll do that with Chris since it's kind of like a Warriors title.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's more of like a Battlefront-esque.
Battlefront,
Warriors,
but you got a sword, so technically it's
it's the Warriors.
It's a Warriors game.
Yeah, so I don't know, what was your like first exposure with this game?
My first exposure with this game was when I actually bought my GameCube. I bought a GameCube my first time. Me and my wife, we went to MagFest. That's like our annual thing. We go to MagFest together. That's like our little date weekend shit or whatever. And I was like, oh shit, a GameCube. Bet I'll get this. This lady was selling it at one of the kiosks, and she was like, yeah, it comes with these games. Boop, boop, boop. So it came with Wind Waker, this game, Sonic Adventure 2, and I want to say Amazing Island, which we will not cover ever on Back of the Rack. That is a horrible game. No. And I didn't know that it existed. And I was looking at it. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's got 2 discs. This is kind of crazy. And put it in. I was like, I don't think I got far. I think I got to like the first boss, or like right into the like Mines of Moria. And then I said, all right, I'm cutting this off. And I just never picked it back up. But in general, I'm like a very stickler. Like Lord of the Rings was the first books that I've ever read, like not school curriculum wise, that I was like, I want to read these books. I read through The Hobbit, all that. I watched because of the movies. I watched the movies, and my dad, we both were like, yeah, like that was like Lord of the Rings, the movies is my Star Wars. Like I'm not really a Star Wars guy. I'm a Lord of the Rings guy. And I've played through all the games, like War of the North. I played hella Conquest. I played a lot of Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. 100% of both of those. Like I'm not playing the Gollum game because I hate the character of Smeagol. But I like the Lord of the Rings as a franchise and as a whole. And this was just something interesting. I never played it, never knew about it. So it was kind of like, huh.
Yeah, what's funny is that you mentioned you and your dad had that, bonding over it. And my mom she's the type of mom where it's like, I don't like fake stories, is what she'll say. I don't like things that didn't happen, like superhero or sci-fi or
But
fantasy
mom,
or
this really happened.
like she does not like that kind of well, she doesn't like science fiction or just fiction, fantasy fiction. She doesn't like fiction. So anything that's not a documentary or based on real events, she doesn't watch. But I got her into Fellowship of the Ring, the movie,
It's
and she was
a perfect
hooked.
it's
You
a perfect
can't,
movie. You
yeah,
can't not fuck with it. Like,
yeah. It's so hard to not be invested and be like, oh, this is really. And like, I remember just watching this. She took me out of school early to see Return of the King.
oh wow.
Yeah, and I remember like I think that sort of cemented my love for cinema at that time because I was able to connect with my mom in that way. Because she also took me to see Spider-Man, the first one, and yeah, I don't know, like those just movies that just shaped you in some sense or inspired you. Yeah, with Lord of the Rings, that was just that fucking shit. I was like, yes, I love this universe, and I think I liked it or loved it more than Star Wars as well. I was a big Star Wars fan too when I was younger, but I fell out of Star Wars. But I don't think I ever fell out of Lord of the Rings because, well, Star Wars overdid its like.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings doing it stop. They was like, listen, you got these 3 books, follow them. That's it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's it. I mean, well, aside from the Hobbit movies, but I mean, I already like knew. I was like, that's fine. But
Yeah.
like Star Wars was just like, let's fucking run.
Let's
this
fuck
shit
it up.
to the ground. let's fuck it up and make money while doing it. Hell yeah.
But that's actually funny because the difference between Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, because I watched all 3 of the in between time of recording this and playing the game and the podcast. I watched all 3 movies with my house because I was the only one that's ever watched all 3 movies. They've never ever seen that Lord of the Rings movie, and it was just so yeah.
My God.
And I'm sitting here like, this is that character, and they're like, okay. But like they were so engaged, like they were like screaming at me all the time, and I'm like, nah, I'm tired. Listen, guys, there's a 3.5 out because we watched the extended editions. I'm like, nigga,
oh yeah,
this is a 4-hour movie. Are y'all sure y'all want to watch this at 10 o'clock at night? Like, come on, y'all, we got to save this for Saturdays or some shit. Like,
yeah,
calm down.
And they were like, nah.
Yeah, and so we finally watched through all of them, and I gotta say, I think the main reason why Star Wars fell off is because everybody's special. And that's the best part about Lord of the Rings is that nobody's special. Like, of course, you follow Aragorn, who's like the destined king of Gondor and like man and all that stuff. And you got literal Jesus. But I mean, other than that, Legolas is just a regular elf dude. Gimli's just a dwarf. The hobbits are literally the worst. Like the fact that the 4 hobbits do so much in the story and like contribute so much to like the overall world when the hobbits aren't even a race that are like in the final battle war to save the entire humanity and like the earth. They're just like, whatever. Like they come back battle hardened at the end of the trilogy and Frodo's missing a finger and shit, and they're just like, oh, look at them hobbits, whatever. Like they don't even know that they just fought a world-ending catastrophe, and they're just like, whatever. That's the beauty of Lord of the Rings is that you see the scale, you see all the foot soldiers. They for some reason you just start following random dudes, and they're just like, yeah, I'm a person, and you're like, okay, but you can feel their story and their struggle and how they help affect like one small interaction has this cataclysmic effect on the whole world, and it makes you feel like, wow, I really help.
Yeah. I think the world feels more historically. It's like it's so allegorical, like in that I feel like it pulls so much from actual history. Like there's 5 races on this continent, in Middle Earth. Which is it a continent or is it a fucking?
Or is that
it's like a whole fucking
yeah.
Like,
Because there's some people that's like past Mordor on the other side, and
exactly yeah,
and they help out Mordor,
yeah. So it has to do with like all these races of people, and like there's tension between these races, and they have factions and stuff like that, and each race is like good with one thing, but they have like a flaw so they're like no one race is perfect, and they play around with like elves being stubborn but masters of like um of of masonry, and the elves being more like, and man having like this sense of like culture. Like there's just so many different elements that I feel like pulls from real life, and it's far more tangible, I feel, than Star Wars, where like they just introduce random aliens, one-offs,
Yeah, it's like, okay,
robots.
there's Jedi. These are the giant evil force of clones or
Yeah.
whatever, and that's it.
Yeah, and I think the Star Wars movies also got too meta as well.
Yeah.
Like how we talk about, yeah, they got a little too self-referential, and then they tried to do like the whole, kind of injecting a little bit of current politics into like their
Yeah.
lore a little bit.
But that's the issue with
So-
it being only a strictly movie franchise compared to Lord of the Rings, to where it's like, nigga, you have a book. Just follow the book. Where it's
Yeah,
you can't
that's true.
you can't fuck up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You have a text, a sacred text.
Yeah, just literally copy it.
Yeah, so let's get into the facts about the Third Age, which is a cool name.
I got a lot
For
on
sure.
this one. So this one was
Yeah.
actually developed by EA Redwood, and it was announced 2 years prior to its release in 2002. And there's a lot of cool things about this game, like such as a lot of the movie characters reprise their roles. Like Ian McKellen, he voices all of the cutscenes. But it's weird because EA, they only owned the rights to the movies, and Vivendi owned the rights to the books. That's why you have the Fellowship of the Ring game, and then EA, they got the rights to the movies, but they didn't want to capitalize on it because they were like, I don't know, this is some niche book, getting an adaptation. I'll wait to see how the Fellowship of the Ring does, and then I'll make a game. So that's why we have the Two Towers and then the Return of the King, because they were like, oh, this shit did gangbusters. While Vivendi was like, we'll just drop Fellowship of the Ring and fuck it. And so you have, because they can only follow the movies, a lot of the games around this time, because it was like a Lord of the Rings gold rush. So EA's dropping games, Vivendi's dropping games, everybody's dropping games just to be like, okay, we just got to cash in on this super gangbusters movie franchise that just came out of nowhere overnight. And so they were making games, they were making strategy games, real-time strategy games, MMOs, anything they could possibly put their foot on, JRPGs. And this is one of those ones. And Redwood at the time was like the C team for EA, making mostly like golf games and like Sims expansions, until they were rebranded as Visceral Games, who would go on to make Dead Space and the Battlefront reboot. EA's
goddamn.
Yeah. EA specifically stated during its reveal that Final Fantasy X and X-2 were their biggest inspirations. And it does not help because there's an ugly as fuck sticker that says, we're better than Final Fantasy. It's like, why would you do that if you... And I was looking up like a lot of like interviews, because like this was a big deal, because you got to remember at the time of release, like Lord of the Rings was the biggest thing in the world. And so there was a lot of news and cover stories and stuff. And EGM made a note during their cover story of the game that because they did a walkthrough of the studio, that there was eerily an extensive collection of Final Fantasy strategy guide games and art books. Take with that information as you will. Another couple quotes that he said in this interview and cover story. He said, "My son plays Final Fantasy X too. Mind you, this is the one with all girls. I listened to that game and I just want to turn it off." Don Vecca, the audio director, stated. We'll get back to that.
That is okay. That's interesting.
And then Stephen Gray, who is a horrible person, who I will put in Titus laughing on this part, but he said, "Hold our graphics against Square's and we'll certainly come out a little ahead and way ahead when comparing audio." That's a bold statement.
Yeah, let's back up a here. Yeah, let's go back a bit. So with Ian McKellen doing the cutscenes, I feel like he did a really good job. He did so many lines, because there's so many cutscenes but the cutscenes are basically just, as we discussed, or we will discuss, retooled scenes from the movies, and then him talking over it, trying to make it
Makes
makes
sense.
sense. Yeah, trying to make sense within the story of the game, but he did good, and I did like that aspect of it. And that was really interesting. Now, as far as the strategy guides and art books that were filling the offices of the studio, that is peculiar to me. And I feel like, when you're creating art, you're doing anything, there is always maybe main inspiration, and you might have that around, like if you're
But just the way that this game
uh
plays, and then like you
yes.
can't shit on Final Fantasy and copy Final Fantasy X exact. Like you can't shit on the game that you copied off of. Like Dark Souls clones or like Souls like games, they don't say Dark Souls was shitty, but Lords of the Fallen, we're working on something better here. Like they say,
Right.
hey, we were inspired by this, we really like this, and we took some ideas and we repurposed them. They don't say, yeah, that's Final Fantasy X too. All those little high pitched anime girls, fuck that. They're pop stars. Ew. We got
Yeah, I think
orchestras.
there's definitely like a disrespect with stuff like that, right? Where it's like, well, you're inspired by it. And maybe because there's so many people working on these games, maybe like the creatives, certain parts of the studio were like, yes, we want to try and build off of what Final Fantasy X did. And then other people were like, man, this shit kind of sucks. Like,
Yeah.
the game is whack. I can do better. Just like the way this guy is talking about it.
And it
There could
gets
have been too much of a reliance on Final Fantasy X, maybe
Yeah.
too.
it gets even weirder because Stephen Gray also, he's the executive producer of the game. He also worked on Final Fantasy VII and Parasite Eve. He was worked at Squaresoft before his role here over at Visceral/Redwood Games. He famously said, "This is the film that will be on the cutting room floor," which is peculiar to say because the game ends with your party literally slashing at the Eye of Sauron on top of the tower, and then it immediately falls in the next cutscene after you defeat the Eye, implying that your entire party just fucking died. Like he just from all the cover stories and like interviews and stuff that I read, he exaggerated to like a disgusting degree, and it was only
Mhm.
worse in hindsight because I did my research after playing the game, and I'm like,
Yeah, you're like, it doesn't feel like any of that.
yeah, because like if you like I haven't really played Final Fantasy X that much, but you've played through Final Fantasy X, like
I have, sir.
so you have like from what I've played, I've only played until like you get Riku in the party, but like from what you've like played through the whole game, like this game is like a step down from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, this game is a very playing Final Fantasy X and playing it again more recently. Not all the way through more recently, but I have played it through once last year. And yeah, this game is very derivative of that game. I think it's okay to like make a genre, right? I think what Final Fantasy X did was, okay, here's the turn-based combat, let's make it cinematic. They have different angles and stuff like that, which I really love. And then let's make it more linear. That way we can focus on the story, and we'll just take these, it's almost like a Uncharted but RPG because it's
Yeah,
linear.
yeah,
There's like puzzle elements and stuff like that. So it's a very tried and true formula, but just done with the whole, RPG aspect in mind. Because before it, what Final Fantasy 9, which I haven't played, Final Fantasy 8
yeah. But you
and
have like an
7 were a bit more
overworld.
open. Yeah, they were more open. It was less like linear, less exploratory. So I think it's okay to be like, hey, we're gonna take this model that Final Fantasy X sort of started, and we're gonna use it for our Lord of the Rings game.
Which is
Because I think that
perfect.
could work,
Yeah,
right?
it's perfect because of the way that the combat and everything. Like, it has a very good first impression, this game, when it starts out. But
Yeah.
because of, like you're saying, it's a linear game, and Lord of the Rings, there's only so much you could really like. It's prepare for war, war, prepare for war, war, prepare for war, war, prepare for war, war. Like that's the entire trilogy. Like the entire first movie is preparing to travel to go to a war. The entire second movie is a war to a war, and then the third movie is 3 wars. So it's like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah.
Like combat in JRPGs, like especially with like Final Fantasies, you were traveling the world. It still was a whole war that was going on, but it had time to breathe to understand that, like, okay, I'm going through a cavern I'm not supposed to. This is abandoned. There's stuff here that there was reason why I was abandoned, or even fucking spectrobes just go all the way back. Like you go to certain worlds. It's not like this is the world ending world. We need to do this and then some shit happens. It's like, okay, I'm in this minor town in this ice planet and I need to learn my lesson about being stubborn as I traverse the environment. There's nothing like that in this game. It's just walk, battle, walk, battle, walk, battle. And it loses that luster, especially because of the way that it's presented. It's not like Final Fantasy. Like that laughing scene that I edited in, even I know, and I haven't even gotten to that scene, that scene is beautiful in context.
It is. Oh, absolutely. It's a very charming scene. So yeah, and we'll talk about like the story of the game and the presentation and all that, but it is interesting that he did say these things. The game is what it is. Though the audio is a highlight, I would say, of Final Fantasy or of Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. But I don't think, I played it on a CRT, and I don't think the audio was bad with Final Fantasy. So it's like you almost have to be an audiophile or an audio director or in that industry to really know, like, oh yeah, this is like 2 points better, but it's not like,
yeah,
I don't
you
think
can
a
be
regular
like, that's a
consumer
MIDI.
would know.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Although I guess the original Final Fantasy X did have a lot of MIDI music, but he's talking about just sound in general. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he's saying audio, not like score sounds better or something. But
the GBA version is a Fire Emblem.
Oh, just real quick.
Oh yeah.
This idea that he's saying, like, this is the film that would be on the cutting room floor. That is really, I want to get into that more for sure.
It's bold, because there's a lot of shit that happens that's like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, is he saying that this would be like an interstitial, like, oh, this is like in between, or like, I don't know. I don't like that. But go on. What were you saying about the GBA version of the game?
It is a Fire Emblem clone. It plays nothing like this game. It is a complete Fire Emblem clone. It's not good as well.
That's so funny, because just like I was saying earlier with the Harry Potter game, that's a third-person platformer adventure game on like PS1 or PS2, I think, and GameCube. But on GBA, it was an RPG, like turn-based affair.
But that was the trend back in the day, though. They used to have like the Sims games used to be like linear single-player games on like handheld. Yeah, like Herbs or like Sims Busting Out. They all were like very linear. Like you got one character and you have a story to go through, compared to like just live your life like on the console versions. Or like there's another game. Was it Pitfall? I want to say Pitfall. Like a lot of platformers got transformed into 2D platformers on GBA and Nintendo DS, and you'll be like, so it's like a completely separate game. Like some games are better. Like I'd say TAC is better on GBA than.
I don't ever want to hear TAC
ever
in this podcast again. That is, I kind of miss that time though. Like I miss it and I don't, because obviously you want to have a level of quality across all platforms, but like just the idea that like, oh shit, if I buy this game on GBA, it's gonna be a whole different game.
It's gonna be a whole separate genre. It's gonna be
it's so fascinating. But that GBA game, the Harry Potter turn-based RPG shit, that was fire.
That's fire. That was fire.
That shit was fire. So originally it had an optimized stat and equipment feature, the game, but that was scrapped apparently.
Yeah, they mentioned that.
I think
they mentioned that in the cover story. They were like, yeah, we had like certain things, but we just scrapped them because they wasn't fun. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean it wasn't fun? Maybe you could have made the menu more fun. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. But it would have been a very helpful feature because of how shitty the menus are. Spoiler alert, they're not good. They're not good at all. We say this with like, I feel like the entire season we've been saying this, but like
What?
that like 2004 is the best year of gaming. Like, especially around this time, this game was released the first week of November. Nintendo DS was released 2 weeks later, and the PSP was released 3 weeks later. This game could have easily been on the PSP, and it just was a missed opportunity because they didn't have the software, they didn't have the knowledge, the dev kit for it, and then all in. This was all in the same week. Half-Life 2, EverQuest 2, Vampire the Masquerade, which I added to the list, Need for Speed Underground 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, and World of Warcraft all dropped in the same fucking week. These are all these are all games that are in the top 50 of all time, except for Vampires.
Right, yeah. Dude.
Stacked. Like they had no choice. It had no chance. Like, I'm sorry. Like nobody's gonna be like, Lord of the Rings, I'm gonna get that over Half-Life 2.
Over Metal Gear Solid 3.
Over a Nintendo DS, I'm gonna get Lord of the Rings.
That must have that was a year that was that was a stacked year. But I feel like a lot of these classic games came out on top because they were pitted against other games that came out, in the same year and were just as good. Like steel sharpens steel, I guess you could say.
Yeah, we don't really have that nowadays. People can just drop shit and be like, whatever, we'll patch it.
Yeah, exactly. And back then too, games came out a lot less frequently. There would be like dry spells of like, oh, we haven't gotten a new release on any platform. Maybe PC had more like, I guess releases, but PS2, I remember GameCube, there would be like months where you just wouldn't get a new game. You'd be like, I don't know what's coming out. But now it's just like every fucking week.
We got 6 games that's dropping on PlayStation 4. You go to, bro, that was the worst shit working at GameStop. Like, especially towards the end of the 360 era, every week we would get this like 3 big ass boxes of just fucking new games, and we would just open them. And half the time I'd be like, the fuck is this? I didn't know Diego Go got a Xbox 360 Connect game. What the fuck? Yeah. Just random shit would just drop, and I'd be like, why? Why do we need 10 copies of Connectimals?
I know, right? Who's gonna come pick this up? But there is like a subsection of, or maybe not even a subsection. We're the subsection with like the hardcore gamers. There's people that play games so casually that they would go into a fucking like a mom buying a game for her 10-year-old, like, oh, Connectimals.
That is true, because that's definitely what I do now. If I ever go into a GameStop, if I'm not buying whatever the new shindig is, I go in and go, what's the weird game that I don't see on here? And I just pick it up.
Yeah, let's go into, of course, the thought table.
Yeah, there's a quote I wanted to kind of put on the back burner of our minds as we read through our thoughts and like talk about the game in general. Jamie Griesmer, a developer for Halo 1, said in a podcast, he did an interview with a podcast about it was just about like design and like animation and stuff, but he mainly said in Halo 1 there was maybe 30 seconds of fun that happened over and over and over and over again. And so if you can get 30 seconds of fun, you can pretty much stretch that out through the entire game. And that sounds crazy in hindsight, but when on the podcast, he kind of elaborated more where he was saying that it's not just that 30 seconds, it's that the 30 seconds is different. So you go from fighting off a warship to riding in a warhog, jumping over cliffs, to sniping in a canyon, to riding in an airpod, to fighting in outer space, to using energy swords. Like, it's always a different 30 seconds, even though the gameplay loop is similar and the same. You're still shooting a bunch of aliens, but the 30 seconds, each 30 seconds feels good, and it differentiates yourself to where you can just throw a bunch of 30-second blobs of that to make a good game. And that's what Halo 1 is.
Interesting.
And
30 seconds of fun.
And I tried to apply that to certain games
This
that
game.
like in my top 10. Like I thought about that with Sonic Adventure 2 because that's my number one game. That's the first thing I thought of, and I was like, yeah, you're right. Like it is 30 seconds of fun because you're running as Sonic, then you do a loop-de-loop, or you bounce on a bunch of springs and you keep going, or you get chased by a giant truck. Like there's always something that's making you not just be like, okay, whatever. Or no, oh, I won't talk about that because we'll probably cover that. But in other games, like that 30 seconds of fun idea, it does fit. It's like a good game design template for in general.
Yeah, I was trying to look for there was a GDC video, but you were able to download the PDF, and it sort of talked about what this is talking about, that 30 seconds of fun. But there's a different dimension to it as well, which is that there needs to be a strong level of engagement and incentive, because 30 seconds of fun is like an arcade mentality, right? Like, let me go in there, let me play
Donkey
I
Kong,
don't know,
real
crazy
quick.
crazy taxi. Let me
Yeah,
play crazy taxi.
that is
You
a
know,
30
and,
seconds
oh,
of
this is
fun game. Yeah,
yeah, like, you know what I mean? So I think with a game like this, you definitely need more. A game as frenetic as, or maybe kinetic as Halo 1. It's a shooter. Like, as long as the shooting is fun, the base is shooting, which is like pulling that trigger, the sound, the impact, how satisfying it is, the movement, the places you get to go. I feel like it's a lot more elaborative than this than this mentality. I mean, isn't this is why people say like, oh, games are inherently repetitive, right? And people always say like, oh, it gets, too
repetitive.
grindy, or yeah, like it's too much of the same thing. With Warriors games, people say that. Um so that's really interesting that that's like the mentality of it. 30 seconds of fun that happen over and over again.
He explains it better
And
in the
it's
video, but that's a general gist where you gotta try to say.
yeah. And yeah, applied to, I'm trying to think of my favorite game, and like if 30 seconds of fun is what I liked about it, but 30 seconds of,
But that
because
30 seconds
sometimes
of
you don't
fun,
even have.
I feel like that mentality is good if you don't realize that it's that 30 seconds.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if it just naturally feels that way, like Last of Us is, I feel like also fits this mode where like you're sneaking, and then if you get caught, now you're fighting, having a gunfight, you're running around, you're trying to bandage up this baseball bat so I can hit a guy, like the way that they swarm you, like running away from spitters and stuff like that, finding ammo. Like it's also has that same nature.
At the risk of sounding pretentious, what I'll say is that I think 30 seconds of engagement is what you need. You need to engage. I mean, because you can only really have fun if you are engaged.
Yes.
I mean, and if you think about it, a game like Last of Us, or like any game that's like drama related like that, are you really having fun?
Or you
You know
just
what I mean?
engaged into the
You're
story.
exactly, you're just engaged with the combat. Like, okay, I need to sneak over
Nah,
here
yeah,
because
you're
this.
right. Because halfway
What,
through
you know
Last
what
of
I
Us
mean?
2, I was not having fun. I was stressed.
Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah, but it's or like if you're playing a stealth game, it's not. It's hard to explain fun sometimes in games. Like Crazy Taxi, it's frenetic, it's fun driving around and fucking picking up people, getting
Running to KFC
like
and
getting them.
shit.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say 30 seconds of engagement over and over again. You need to engage audience. And I think that actually blends smoothly with the question that we have of what makes a game overstay its welcome. Um, you know, that's the question of this game that we came up with. It's like, what sort of makes a game overstay its welcome? And we'll get more into that. But for now, let's jump into the presentation of this of Lord of the Rings, The Third Age. Sondi, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it because we both got the same point. The animations are amazing on this game. If there's one compliment I can give this game, is the way that the animations play out, and the fact that those animations also differentiate with the battlefields. Like you can have a battle that's in the same exact like field or like zone of the area, and they'll each have a different camera angle and a different like layout. Like sometimes you'll fight in this one cavern and there'll be a orc on a wall and he's shooting arrows and you can only attack him with range attacks, and then you walk 5 down the corridor and now you're fighting a troll in the same corridor, and the way that they just change up everything and your animations look different, they hit different. If you miss, if it's a critical, if it's a shining attack, like healing, like the effects, the particles, everything just felt crazy. I don't know if you ever unlocked the water stallion ability.
Was that the perfect mode ability?
It's the
Or is
last
that
it's like the very bottom of I forgot their names, bro. What's the elf bitch name? Idril.
Adriel? Yeah, Adriel. Yeah.
Yeah, like it'll be like it's her final attack, and it's the same like little water attack she has, but instead she like summons up a bunch of water,
Waters.
like from the movie, how like it summons a
Right,
bunch
right,
of
yeah.
it summons that and does that into the enemies. That's like really cool to me. I thought, but it takes like 7 fucking years to do. And then like I
Yeah.
never used it after that the first time, but it just was cool to see.
Yeah, the animations, I absolutely agree with you. Like, and we both put that they are just, yeah, they're amazing. I feel like they're satisfying. The thing with animations is that there is a balance. You know, you can go too far with animations. Famously, Red Dead 2 really went into its like simulation of, you know, being a cowboy in that time. And so the animations for even like going into a house and then going through the cupboards, like there's an animation to pick up everything, there's an animation to skin everything, and it's cool to see, and it makes you feel more immersed. It feels weighty, it feels like there's intention,
Right.
and it doesn't feel meta when like there's an actual action for it. But the interesting thing about it is that animations can actually slow down your game incredibly.
Right.
Like your animations need to be somewhat flexible or dynamic, where you can maybe skip them or speed them up, or there's an adaptability where it's like, I've seen this animation before, so I just can grab it quickly. And in this game, while the animations I felt like are so detailed and so weighty, and they feel like they have flesh and blood, after a while it drags down the pacing of each
Yeah,
battle.
you'd be like, bruh,
Yeah.
let me
Especially
see this
because
dude stretch
there's
this arrow and
the
shoot
arrows
the fucking miss anyway.
the fucking the arrows were the worst.
I hated him, bro. After a while, I was just like,
I'm
fuck
like,
this guy.
why? Why he took long. I feel like everybody else sort of made sense. Like Idriel like had a good wind up when she's doing her spells, but like the way how long he took, I'm like, you're the worst archer ever. Because even in the movies, like Legolas was just like he was so quick with it.
Yeah.
And this what's his name? Elagast. He was just like fucking the slow and then miss. I'm like, oh my god, you're useless.
There's
You're
no point in
fucking
even
useless.
fucking trying with you no more. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, I put his decks. I only put his decks in for him the entire game, and he still was missing shit. I was like, bro, fuck this guy, bro.
Yeah,
I can't.
I don't understand. I didn't get it. I'm like, how does that even work? His dexterity is supposed to increase his. You have the highest dexterity, and you're missing constantly. But yeah, the pacing for a game, an RPG, I think is very reliant on the animations and how slow they are, or how maybe adaptive and dynamic they can be. But they're good. I mean, they're beautiful animations. Specifically, I like Adriel's haste of the elves. There's something about like that, like the particles going around her and her like twirling her sword, and then just like and then they like it hits,
Yeah.
or whatever party member, and they're like, yeah. It's so yeah. It's good. It's great animation work. Final Fantasy X has really good animations as well, but somehow they're a little bit more speedy. Like they skip a couple frames to speed it up. Or,
Yeah, because you got to understand that. I guess that also helps out with Square Enix. Does that they've had at this time 4 games, 3D games, to where they can understand the speed, how much it is, because JRPGs, which is what this game's trying to copy, it relies a lot on the battle system, but also you got to understand the battles can't take too long or else it's not fun. And this
Right.
game, I
Unless
guess,
it's like its boss. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But this game, it doesn't really understand that principle. So there's a lot of things like certain battles, you'll kill a mob and then a mob will run up to take its place to like simulate that you're in a battlefield. And like you have to watch the fucking thing run up, do its attack. And you're like, oh my gosh, bro. Like at this point, I might as well just fucking, I don't even want to kill you no more at this point. Shit, you're going to take this long.
Yeah, their attacks, the enemy's attacks also take long. And it also like it's RPGs are interesting because like Elise was watching me play it and it's silly looking when like they're all lined up and then one person runs up to the other enemy, hits them, and then runs back. And then like she's like, what? This looks so goofy because it's like you're like Lord of the Rings and you watch some movies and you see like how chaotic and like constant the battles are. So when you put it in like a let's take turns hitting each other, like
yeah, because in the movies
really
they're
silly.
literally like touching each other, like move, like
You're
muddy,
just like,
stabbing through like walls. Like they're so like the way that the orcs are like orchestrated in the movies, they're like roaches, they're like bugs, they like swarm, they climb shit, they will tear down walls to get to you, and they're like zombies almost in like World War Z. And then in the game they're all just like
I'm standing in line waiting.
Are you gonna kill him? Okay, oh swipe.
And the animations are also slow too, so it's like you have to watch your animations and then and you can't, maybe look, if you're gonna give us an ability to skip someone's animation, let it be the enemy at least.
I don't make it faster.
I don't need to see like is it called Murder of the Crows?
Yeah, where he does that.
All
the fucking
and then like
crows.
I hate that one so much. As far as presentation, what else you had to say? What else you got?
I really like the fact that even though the characters were so lifeless, I could care less. Like the designs were very similar. Like I couldn't tell elf girl from white girl. I couldn't tell white man from white man. But other than the fact that this one has a spear and this one has a sword and shield. But like other than that fact, I really like that all of your armor and weapons had in-game models and they showed up in cutscenes. So when you equip new armor, you can tell like, oh, that's new armor. And you can tell which one is attached to a gear set, and you can be like, okay, that one is associated with that one. It made me feel cooler when I was getting new pieces and they would like attach each other and eventually make a full set. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, that's always fun in a game when like you can actually see the armor, because Final Fantasy has never been a game to show what the armor you're equipping looks like.
Yeah, you're always gonna be wearing those swim trunks.
And this game could be like a very loot driven game, and then maybe it might be better for it. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I would actually like to see a ARPG Lord of the Rings game. Now that I'm playing Diablo, playing
Why has
Diablo
that not
2
been
right
a thing? Now that you mention that, you're right. There has not been one of those. No, yeah,
no.
So one genre.
I mean, not that I know of.
Yeah,
and
not that I know
feel
of
like
either. I hope not.
Yeah, just copy Diablo. But
Somebody's gonna be in the comments like, actually, Lord of the Rings. This one is.
Clearly, you didn't do your research. Let's cancel this podcast. But yeah, so I feel like that was like that could be like a really interesting aspect of it, but they don't give you. I mean, this is more gameplay related, but they don't give you enough gear over time. That there's like 15 pieces of gear. It feels like 15, 20. So you get like one piece of gear per hour for each character.
Some characters you don't even get. Like Hahud, I had the same like goat mask shit on him for like half the game. And he just randomly got a new mask. I was like, this is too late. I don't use him anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. It feels a little half baked on that front. I do feel like they really captured like the feel of the Lord of the Rings music and environments. I feel like the music is really what makes Lord of the Rings feel like Lord of the Rings. And that's interesting because when you're reading the books, you don't have any score or orchestral like theme music in mind. And the magic of movies is that it builds on all dimensions of sound and visuals, audio and visuals. And when you hear like that Howard Shore. I was gonna say John Williams. Howard Shore's like, you know,
Bum, bum, bum.
his
Boom,
breath. Yeah,
boom,
yeah.
boom, boom. That shit is
when
amazing.
you hear that, that's Lord of the Rings. Like that's iconic music, and I feel like it captured some of the feel of that. But I do feel like a lot of themes are lost, and it starts to feel repetitive. There's no real like. A lot of the music feels like atmospheric Lord of the Rings music, and not like the themes from Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it, like you never had like a good.
Yeah.
You know, like the Hobbit theme. Like you never have any themes. It just felt like the horns and the drums throughout the whole thing. Even when you're like in the mines or in the forests or in Rohan or in Helm's Deep, I'm like, I don't hear any real theme. I just hear like
boom, 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 boom. Or that's it. That's all you hear. Yes. I don't know. I thought the music was very forgettable. And that's like a sad thing. Like
because there was no themes.
Yeah, like I can't really remember anything other than the main menu theme.
Oh yeah, well, because that's from the movie.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that shit's good.
Yeah, that's all I can remember.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, you don't necessarily need a motif, but I mean, if you're gonna take from JRPGs, you need themes. You need
some midis, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Put some
yeah,
midis
actually,
in
who did the music? Was it it wasn't Howard Shore.
It was he's up there. He was in the facts. It was David something. Don Becker. He was the audio director.
So he just like, yeah. And maybe it was just hard for them to like come up with like, well, do they want to hear the same Lord of the Rings theme while they're fighting?
Yeah, and it was also the fact that like they were like, well, we just released 2 games based on the movie. We're releasing another game based on the movie. Do we just do what we're doing and steal more music from the movie, or what do we do?
Right.
Yeah, it's not much you can really do. Same with like the UI. Wish they could have did a lot better. It felt like a debug menu playing through the game, and you have to go through these menus. You got to press start, and I got to put in my stats, then I got to change my items, and the items aren't in like a list or like in a thing, so I don't know what the fuck the difference is. I gotta just click it and hope that it's the right one. It was like the items are horrible because I have to scroll through this whole, like at the end of the game you gotta scroll through this big ass list of items that you don't fucking use, and like click the one item you need, which is the D-spell. Like it's just, I felt like the UI, and it's too dark. It was
it might as well have been like an Excel sheet of shit. Like, because I'm like, what? Like you couldn't really see.
Yeah, the blue font like on top of that was like
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty much just like the name of the armor, and then below that, the name of another armor, and then you're just like, okay, which one is which? And then if you select it, you have to actually like press a separate button to see any details on it. Yeah. But then like the way the details were laid out, I was like, wait, what's changing? Yeah. Really, really poorly thought out and not player tested, I don't think, because it's not readable, and it made managing your equipment and being in the skill menu or anything, it made it awful being in there. Because I'm like, I don't know what does this mean exactly? What?
Yeah.
I want to go back about just real quick what you said about the character designs. Oh boy. Yeah, they're first off, the portraits,
bro. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't tell who was who.
They look so ugly. I like, these are the like worst shots of your characters that you want to highlight ever. They were like zoomed in, like
right to the, like just their face and the eyes, and they're like, yeah, I'm supposed to tell this white lady from this white lady, and
they all look very, very similar. Very like, they all look like cavemen Neanderthal people. Yeah. I was like, what the?
I kept confusing certain people's turns. I'd be like, okay, Elf Girl's coming up, and I'd be like, oh no, the barbarian lady. No, shit. I can't do now. I was trying to heal.
They didn't have any interest. I mean, they just look like background characters in the Lord of the Rings movies. They didn't have anything special about them. But I think with the Lord of the Rings, if you look at all their designs, the costume designs, they don't really stand out too much. You know, it's about the character that makes it more iconic. I mean, I would say, aside from like Gandalf the White, and you know, but they all have similar colors. They don't really like. A ranger looks like
a ranger.
An elf looks like, you know, all the dwarves look very similar. That's why the Hobbit, I think, they had to really give each character, each dwarf, a very distinct personality, because they all dress the same.
They all got
the only
beards.
Difference was like they all have beards. You had to like, Yeah, you had to give them like little accents, so that must have been a little difficult for them. And clearly, they were uninspired to, and didn't bother doing anything more because they
Yeah.
all looked like NPCs.
I was about to say that's probably
Um,
the best description of like the entire party. It was that they all fit archetypes of background characters throughout the movies. Like, okay, this is a human warrior. This is a ranger. This is a elf dude or elf girl.
yeah.
This is a dwarf. Like they all fit that specific niche of a specific army of man that fought against the group. And it's like after a certain point, you're like,
They should have. I think what they should have done is let you create a character, and then you party up with Gandalf and Frodo and Aragorn and
yeah.
um,
And then you
like
just like go along with them for a minute and
go
then
along
they
with
leave because they're in the game.
yeah,
You
and then
do certain, and then when you play as Aragon or you have Legolas in your party, you're like, yo, these characters are just, they are literally certain characters in my party, but better.
I don't know if you ever thought about this, and I'm just thinking about it now, but why is it that you need a party? Why, like in JRPGs, why couldn't it just be like your one character? You know,
Yeah.
like in this, let's just say that you did create a character. Like, why can't it just be your character doing turn-based combat, and then you decide if they want to be a ranger, maybe a dwarf, or whatever class or whatever race, and then you just join up with other people, like, and then you can have them be generic, and then they auto attack or whatever, but you select your thing because clearly there was no inspiration for any of these individuals on any level.
I will double
And
that with a game that we should cover on Back of the Rack. Kingdom Under Fire, Circle of Doom. That was
never heard of it.
it's an action RPG. Well, it's not a like Diablo action RPG, but it's like it's an RPG and you have action combat. And it's exactly that. You have your created character and it goes into a certain archetype, and then you could play online with other people that will be your party members, but like
Mhm.
the world feels lifeless and boring because you don't have anybody to bounce off of. There's no story. Like you just are told story from like NPCs that are like, you are the and you have to and
Mm.
you don't really feel any weight to it. I feel like if you had like a smart idea, but I feel like if you had a created character in this, you would have to strictly follow the movies and be like a foot soldier type of thing.
Yeah.
And like have
Yeah.
like your group of foot soldiers, and or like if you were like if you started out in Helm's Deep or something and then you got lost, so that's why you had an elf with you, and that's why you had a elf barbarian lady and a ranger, and like if you had your party and it was just because of Helm's Deep and you guys got lost in the fight of it all, and then you guys go on and do some other shit trying to get back to some shit, I feel like that would have been better than random niggas in the woods and then they just go through everything and, oh, hey Gandalf, hey, how you doing, fighting a Balrog, let me help you out. It's just felt weird.
love
It's
that.
like, what?
I love that. Yeah, it was. It felt very contrived, very forced with what they did. But I feel like we're already bagging on this whole fucking. We're talking so much shit. I do want to add that I did like some of the little flourishes. Like, I really liked the Ring of Power inscription being used to highlight characters in the battle. I thought that was kind of cool.
I
Red
like
was for the enemies,
I
and
like
white
the
was for your
indicator for
allies.
like any random encounters, how like it would grow bigger, like the Eye of Sauron before it like eventually and go off your screen. I like that.
Yeah, that shit was loud
Every time I was
no matter
like, oh,
what I was like,
shit.
God, it's like, God damn, dude. And it's not like battles were few and far between; they were pretty constant. So it got a little annoying at some point. But as far as presentation, I remember being younger and really thinking it was all cool. Anyways, I think I'm looking at it more of like a critical eye, but I think I started to see, not that I'm jaded, but I started to notice more that it feels a little uninspired on many fronts. And maybe that's because they didn't have time to polish things up. There, he's talking about that the game looks better graphically, and that it sounds better. But I feel like like for the UI, okay. So how in The Last of Us, part 2, when you go to a workbench, it's like she's you can see her holding her weapon, and she's like turning it around, and you're adding all like this upgrades.
Yeah.
You know, so it feels tangible. It feels in world, right? I feel like something with Lord of the Rings, you want everything to feel gritty, just like in the movies. Like, why not set up? Like, why was it not a campsite? Why was it like a stone, a pillar?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that. I was like, why not make it feel like more of an adventure and have your party be at a campsite, and instead of maybe this black screen with blue text that we have, maybe like they're each sitting at like a stool or something around a campfire, and then like you just have like a UI overlaid, and then
And you can add
you
your
could probably
points.
even have, yeah, you can add your points. Like, why do it the way you did? You know, because I don't think that would be much more difficult. I
Yeah.
mean, that's not resource intensive. They just
It
require a
could have
little
just
bit
been,
of
it didn't
probably
even have
time.
to change, and depending on
No.
where you are, it could have just been the same generic campfire loading
Exactly, yeah.
screen.
Maybe just like a different background, you know, maybe use the same. Okay, so you know how each area had a different battleground for when you're in battle?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. So like, yeah, just use that same space
And just
and then
add a
just put-
campfire. Just add the same
Yeah, add a-
campfire. And just
same campfire, so that way at least when you're saving, it's like, okay, this is clearly we're in the cave, we're in Rohan, we're in Helm's Deep, and then just have them animating sitting down.
Yeah.
And then like that's perfectly doable. But I think, I mean, they had 2 years to develop this game, so I don't, or maybe more. According to this guy, he's saying that
they've had it since the first, because all the films were recorded at the same time. So he said he had it like when the shit was recorded. I don't know what they were talking
like
about.
he was
bro.
getting, he was sending him like footage, and they were sending him like the like cuts of film that weren't going to be in the like early visuals of the film. So I don't know. It was a little, yeah, that takes a toll on it overall. So let's move into the story.
One thing I
And,
could say about this story is it leans too heavy on these epic scenes and these movie cutscenes. I feel like the story, I could give two shits about the story, because it's not because it's bad. It is, but because of how it's presented, because it's like, okay, I'm going to get a Gandalf narrated cutscene that talks about some shit that happened in the movie, but he's trying to scapegoat it to where this didn't happen in the movie. This is, while this was going on, these guys were doing this. And it's like, so you're telling me all these guys were going through the entire, like just right behind the main characters, just doing cleanup duty? It's like, it felt like I was like, bro, okay, really? So you're telling me they were standing right next to Shawty when she killed the Witch King? Like, it's just stupid shit. Like, I felt like they were doing shit because they had to, and they were like, well, we got the license, we got the thing, we were making a JRPG of this. We can't not have a Balrog fight. We can't not have you fight a Nazgul. We can't not have you fight Sauron. But it's like, something else. You could have had us fight the spider. Something like, this shit's boring.
Yeah.
It's after a while you're just fighting wolves, orcs, trolls, Nazguls. That's it. And maybe an octopus.
Once.
Like, that's all you fight the entire game. And after a while you're like, all right, because it's the same story. And especially at this point, like, everybody's played Two Towers. Everybody's played Return of the King. Everybody's played like the other Lord of the Rings games. We've watched the movies. That's why we bought the game. So for you to show me scenes of the movie and scenes of the game, of the other shit I've seen in the other games, because they have the same presentation of just showing me the fucking movie, I'm like, bro, I'll just watch the movie if you just want me to do this. And you could have just War of the North. That's another Lord of the Rings game that doesn't get a lot of attention. It had
I have that.
It had the ability, because EA was limited to only showing things that was in the movie. They couldn't talk about things that happened in the book. So they couldn't even bring up characters or certain scenarios or situations that happened only in the book, not in the movie, because they only had the license to the movie. But War of the North had the beauty of being able to tell a completely separate story about the Northern campaign that was not really covered still to this day. And it felt fresh, because you don't, like, it's in the universe of Lord of the Rings, but it's not associated with the main characters and story of Lord of the Rings, because it's a very specific story and they have very specific key characters, and you can't justify even no matter how they try to make these characters feel special, there's no way you can justify them being special or doing something because we don't see them in the movies. We don't interact with them. They can't have that big of a role if we don't see them. Like, we saw Gandalf fight this nigga like Goku, like the Balrog falling off the cliff, fighting him up the mountain, spiting him. Like, we saw that. We didn't see these other 4 characters standing next to Gandalf casting haste on him. So it takes you out of the experience, especially as somebody that's a fan that's seen everything. It's like, I can't play this.
Some really good points there. Like, it was really just it's like just a very lazy, I don't want to say lazy implementation, because obviously they tried to integrate these. I mean, someone sat there and like, oh, okay, what if instead of them just going along with beat by beat every part of the movie, what if they're like on a whole separate path parallel to the events of the movie? You know, like, I think the best and coolest implementation of this is when you're in the mines of Moria and the skeleton that what's his name?
The Balrog?
One of the hobbits knocks over.
Oh, yeah.
One of the hobbit, yeah. And then you can hear Gandalf saying, fool of a took, and you're gonna get us all killed, and you just alerted half of the whole mine, and all the orcs are gonna come, or all the goblins are gonna come and get us. And like, that was the coolest implementation of the idea. That was a peak, like, oh, cool. It's like they're running parallel, but then like they force too many other scenes. So yeah, I just think that the story is delivered in a very dry, unintuitive, and very immersion breaking sense, because you have these normal cutscenes and then, oh, let's cut to fucking little whole like montage of the movie with Gandalf narrating. Like, I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
This is so. And then there's so many of them that I'm like, I didn't watch like 80% of them.
After like I got to the mines, I was like, so after every major battle, there's going to be a scene for you to narrate and talk about. That's just the fucking movie.
No. Yeah.
Like, they have probably, like, if you splice all of the epic scenes together, you could probably make the 2 towers.
Yeah. A very condensed version of the
hour-long version of it.
But this is sort of to go back to the question that we ask, which is basically like, okay, what makes a game overstay its welcome? And I think a game can't overstay its welcome if it's engaging and if it has good pacing. And when a game, like, we already know the ending. You're following the same beat by beat story of the films.
Exactly.
You're funneling us through the same events, just like slightly different variations. So it's like, and then you're like drip feeding it to us through these really short in-game cutscenes, and then really long, getting the voice actor of Gandalf to, talk over it. And it's just like, what's my incentive to keep going?
And this is I feel like 35-hour game. This isn't a short game. This is a 2-disc game. And the fact that I have to go through the entirety of all 3, like, not even just 2 Towers, Return of the King. I go through the entire Fellowship, the entire 2 Towers, the entire Return of the King, and you fight every battle. And it's like, after a point, it's like, you could have cut it off at like Orzammar, and like there was a specific point in I think that's the name of it. I don't know, Orzammar, whatever, where you have
Where is that?
Wherever Boromir's brother is a guest character for you. There's like a spot where like the Berthor has like apparently got stabbed by a Nazgul, and then the elf girl gets kidnapped, and you like go through this thing to like save her, and you go through these sewers and you do all this crazy stuff. The party splits apart, you're fighting Nazguls. Like, that could have been the ending right there, and you could have been like, this is our separate story, we're doing this thing, bada bing bada boom, this is where our story ends. But no, they keep going, and it's like, I have a whole nother battle after this, bro. And like, that is the point where I was kind of like, all right, bro, because I know what I'm going to, like, I know the battle system doesn't complement the story, I guess is a better way of putting it, because the battles get more complicated. Like Helm's Deep was a beautiful battle. Even though I hated it, it was very difficult. I loved the way that story and sonically it progressed when it came to gameplay, because it's like, okay, they're literally orcs pouring in, and you're fighting battles where you're fighting so many orcs to where you start losing count. Like, how many did I kill? How many is it going to be? This is so many. And then you finally win the battle. And you're like, oh my God. And then you fight another battle that's just like that. And you're like, bro, I keep killing orcs. They keep coming. But that's how that battle is supposed to be. And it feels good. But then when you go and you're fighting 6 fucking elephants and you're like, oh, all right. I get
the fatigue starts to set in. Not only that, but there's, along with this idea of overstaying your welcome, there's no incentive. There's no payoff. You're leveling up, but like I dumped all my points into dexterity, and I never felt like I earned a stronger character because he kept missing. And all the moves that you would get late game or even mid game are just the same animations of the first like wave of skills that you have, with like a new, like slightly different effect on it. Like a poison arrow looks the same as a sleeping arrow, or like the cleaving axe attack that gives the enemies a bleeding effect is the same animation as
a 2-hit
regular attack. So it's just like, what am I working towards here? Nothing, because and that's where it starts to feel like,
and it also is the fact that you have to use those specific abilities, and they progressively get higher in cost of learning and leveling up. So it's like, I have to go in the menu. I have to select that this is the ability that my points, when I use these abilities, are going to go into. Use these abilities so that I can set it up and get points. Like, it got to a point where I was just spamming abilities on just to get points. Right. It's like, bruh.
Okay, so gameplay. What I was gonna say is that in RPGs, I've always liked the ability to, like, or rather the mechanic where you use a move more, and then it like unlocks a different move.
It levels up more. I love that shit. That is like that's my ideal progression system. Like the Skyrim, like the more you use it, the more that specific skill levels up, and you unlock more shit in that. I like that.
I think Sengoku Basara has that, where it's like, the more you press square, you'll unlock the next square chain of attack.
Yeah, I think it does have that.
I always thought that was like the coolest thing. I'm like, hell yeah, if I keep using this or that. So Lord of the Rings, The Third Age has that sort of mechanic, but because it's an RPG and it's so slow, asking me to do 50 sleep arrows to get the next, like,
I'm saying, bro, no. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it gets to a point where you're like I got to a point where I was grinding, and then I stopped myself and I was like, wait, what am I doing? Fuck that. No. And I just stopped. I was like, nah. I just got to a point where I had a strategy, and I just used that, where I was like, okay, like from the jump with like the elf girl, I was like, okay, you're gonna be my mage, so you're getting nothing but intellect. And she got to a point where she was like really broken, to where I could just like water attack one and just insta kill. So I would just be like, okay, haste. I would, like, once you unlock the frenzy, I was just like, all right, haste yourself, loud water, loud water, loud water, loud water, and just kill everything. And that was my strategy.
You know what? I think I did this. What did I think I gave her a health, and she was my tanky healer. So I didn't really use her for like well, she wasn't super tanky, but she was definitely like
had some health on her.
Yeah, like she wasn't. Yeah, because I didn't put a lot into magic for her. Well, no, because I had to in order to get her to heal proportionately. So yeah, I did, but whenever I used loud water, I feel like it never did much damage. So I just decided to use her as my healer.
Yeah, I think I want to say by the end of the game, she had like, I want to say like 260 intelligence. Like, she was hitting like a truck. Yeah, she was hitting like a truck. Like, I could not use her in my party because that's how strong she was. Like if it came to her turn, like I would use the barbarian girl, Barathor, and her, because the barbarian girl, I could double haste her, and then she would just constantly have a turn and just whittle everything down, and then Barathor would buff everybody with like hit chance and upgrade attack and stuff, and then she would just heal, and if she got a turn, woo, she would 12k, just 12k hit somebody.
I kind of really enjoyed the like, you know, when you level up and you get to like allocate the skill points to a specific, I like that. I do like that. Because Final Fantasy X gives you that ability, but it's very maybe focused or compartmentalized, where it's like you need orbs that you get in battle, and those orbs are put into nodes, and each node is like, oh, this is +5 strength, this is +3 intelligence.
Yeah, so plus you have like your specific characters, like even though they have a skill grid and you can like upgrade it as you like, he's still going to be the tank. He's still going to be the battle mage.
Right. Yep. Yeah, there was not a lot of flexibility, which, I mean, it's not bad. It's just like, because I know with like the new characters, like the spear character that you get in Lord of the Rings, and then the barbarian girl, there was a point where I'm like, I don't know how to build these guys right now. You know, you get like all these points, you have like 10 points. I'm like, where do I put this? What are they good at? And you look at their skills and you're just like, what do I use you for?
Yeah, that's how I felt with Barbarian Girl, because I was like, I'm never going to use these thief skills. Why would I use that's a waste of a turn. No, I want the battles to be over, not to be longer.
Right, exactly.
And then
that's another aspect of it too. Yeah, you want the battle to end, as opposed to, I want to play around with these skills. I never felt that, and I didn't want to play around with anything. I'm like, I just want this battle to be over as soon as possible.
Like, and then I didn't know until the very fucking end of the game that there was 2 specific like elf stones that you get, one for lightcraft and one for shadowcraft, and those were just equipable skill systems. So like lightcraft, once you unlock the skill in lightcraft, that character unlocks that ability forever. So the first one is a heal, the second one's a revive, and then you have like haste. Like you can teach any character the healing skills that the elf girl knows. Same with the shadowcraft. It has a bunch of, mostly the Rohan guy had, the spear guy, he had a bunch of these abilities, but there was like a specific dark magic attack that you could do. So I could have had another character be my magic attacker as well, but I didn't learn that until I was in the final area, and I was like, well, that's a waste of time. I'm not about to grind for this. I got these shits on like the first area. I could have been did this, but I didn't know, because
I played around with them and I was like, oh yeah, like I guess I can make my tank. My tank was Hadhod. I used him a lot.
I did not use him. That's the craziest part.
Yeah, he was built like a truck, just like you were saying for Idriel. Like he was my main. Him and Barathor, and then Idriel, and then I would swap Barathor depending on the situation, but it was mainly them 3. So basically the first 3 characters I stuck with.
I do enjoy the fact that you could change your party members and you don't lose a turn. You can just press X and change them.
I like that.
But I did not like the fact that you can only change them in combat. Like there's certain areas that you can get to, and you like once you do the first battle, you're like, okay, I get the gist of what kind of people I'm going to be fighting in this area. And then you can't change them until you get into combat, and it's like, bruh, I'm going to either kill them too soon that I can't change them, or there's going to be no point because I'm just going to have to just fight it out like this.
Yeah, it was an oversight for sure. And you have that, you didn't like that there was no 4-player parties.
I hate this. I hate this in all, like even Final Fantasy 12, I said this, where I hate the fact that you give me all these characters, but like I feel like 4 should be the magic number. Like 4 is a great number of like management and being able to like, you know, do shit and get the game rolling. And it's like having 3 characters, it's like, bro, if I had a 4th character, I would feel more inclined to switch out my characters and like play around and be like, okay, cool. Because when I have 3, it's like, okay, I got to choose my best 3 that can fit the jack of all trades for the scenario, instead of being like, if
Yeah.
I have 4, I can be like, okay, I got my 2, and then I can interchange 2 more to like swap around and have fun around and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think I was thinking about this, and it does make sense because there's 6 characters total. And I feel like you can make essentially 2 different teams, an A team and a B team. And also with 4 characters in this game, I think they found a sweet spot. And not a sweet spot, because they definitely, the battles are prolonged. So if you had a 4th character, they might have had to add more enemies or something to pace the battles out.
And they already do give you, sometimes there's like battles where you're like in a circle and you have like a new option to like wheel around and like rotate your party so that they can attack specific goblins or orcs or whatever you're fighting. And there's like certain mobs that are like up in an area where you can only do if you have like range attacks. But I think that's pretty cool in terms of like diversity, because then you have to be like, okay, I got to change out this character. I got all melee characters. Let me add the Elagast in there and stuff. But I don't know. I just felt like I was like,
I think, well, this game just struggles, man. It struggles. I mean, it gets old. Nothing new is really ever introduced. You know, you're watching the same animations. The new moves you do get aren't super exciting because they look very similar to the other animations. Battles overstay their welcome, and that's probably because of the latter, or the former that I mentioned. They needed something in between. They needed like some mini games. They needed something to break up the monotony of battle.
Some quick time events or something, or
like, let me explore a village and let me interact.
Let me go sell to a shop.
Why was there? Yeah, why was there no shop?
It's no super shop. Weird. No gold, like, no nothing. Like,
you couldn't go into an inn and maybe like, I mean, in Helm's Deep, sure, but it felt like superficial, and
it felt like a in between part where it's like, hey, I know you just went through this gauntlet. Now you're at Helm's Deep and you're about to go through another gauntlet. So this is your preparation for that gauntlet.
Yeah. It was really there was no, for a role-playing game, it never felt like I was role-playing in the sense of like immersing myself. And
I was never in the world because I never cared for the characters, because I immediately knew these are D-list characters. These characters don't matter. They're just made up characters to suffice the fact that we're going through the story again, but in a JRPG form instead of a beat 'em up form.
There's just so much that I wish that this game was, and it just feels like a rushed Lord of the Rings or Final Fantasy X clone.
Like it felt like I don't mind clones. They had to go into it and be like, okay, well, while Final Fantasy X is still hot, while everybody else is copying it, let me go ahead and drop my copy while this movie's hot as well too.
I think, wait, is that all I have for gameplay? Why is there no... Yeah, there's no... I put, why is there no in-game economy? And that's just like, there needed to be a merchant and currency, and it would have been nice to be able to, like, just do something different than the fucking...
Then walk, battle. That's all you're going to do in this game. Walk, battle, open treasure chest, walk, battle, open treasure chest, save. That's all you do.
Yeah.
So after a certain point, you're just playing, you're just walking, and you're like, oh my god. Like I was literally falling asleep playing this game sometimes. I'd be playing it and I'd be like, oh my god. Like it's so mind numb in a bad way. Like we always talk about Muso games, how they're like, you can turn off your brain. They're mindless. You can just play it. But it's a good mindless because it's still, like we're saying, engaging. It's a good 30 seconds of engaging. Square triangle, and seeing the whole wave goes away. You're like, that's engaging because you're like, okay, I just knocked the whole wave out. I'm going to go to the next base. It's engaging, but like especially because there's certain battles, like enemies. I hate this about this game. And I think this is the most frustrating thing is that they're like, the main way combat works is that you're trying to stun your enemies so that you have more turns to where you can attack them more. That's kind of like the background meta to like playing the game. But enemies can do the same shit to you. So a lot of the times my deaths would be one character gets stunned, the other characters are too slow, so their turns are way ahead. So they would just
Oh, they're
stun.
missing.
Yeah, or they're missing. So you're just stunned, and now you have 10 because you're fighting 10 monsters. All 10 of these creatures got turns. 2 of them are going to keep stunning you. The other 8 are going to beat the shit out of you. And because you lost this character, now that's less. He was the next in line, and now you just get stun locked, and you have no turn, and you're just watching yourself get beat back and forth. And you're like, I guess this is just how I lose because I didn't haste my character.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of situations like that. That my least favorite situation is where there's a character that did I think it's like it's something it's a mirror move, and essentially if your enemy casts it on you and you attack them, the same amount of damage reflects to your character. So if you do 100, yeah, I'm just like, what the fuck? My character does so much damage, and then like to try and take it, like there's just, it was the most frustrating situation I've ever been in with the game, and I was like, I don't have time for this shit.
Oh
this game is ass.
You never experienced the elephants, man. They would
I didn't get to.
They would stun you. Yeah, they would stun you and steal your SP. So you can't even use abilities. You would have to waste your turn getting SP back. It's just horrible.
That doesn't even make sense in world. Why would they take your skill points?
I don't know. That shit was horrible. And you just be like, I guess I'm dead. I'm dead. Restart the load from checkpoint.
That's crazy that you even finished it, man.
And even then, the worst part about this game that made me so mad, which is why I'm so angry about this shit, it didn't give me no fucking credits, bro. It didn't even tell me, congratulations, you beat the game. You fight fucking Sauron's eye. You do all the bullshit, right?
Yeah.
You do all this dumb shit. You beat the fucking eye. The game's over. It just shows the cutscene of Sauron's eye falling and Aragorn, and then it just falls, and then it just goes to the main menu. I thought I broke the game. I thought I hit reset on the PlayStation.
You can't even save after?
There's no save. No, there's nothing. There's no congratulations, you beat the game, try again on play evil mode, or there's nothing. It's just the game's over. And I'm like, credits? Final cutscene? Nothing? That's it? This shit was so weird. I didn't like that. It made me feel unaccomplished. It made me feel like, wow, I just did nothing.
Did this for nothing. That's really the main theme of this game, is that there's no reason to do anything because it's going nowhere that you've not seen or been before.
Or done before.
Yeah, or done before. Exactly. And I think that's why I quit certain games. I'm like, there's nothing really new. The only game I really regret not finishing is probably Spectrobes. But you
didn't even get to the writing Spectrobe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but every other game where I was like, no, this is fucking like,
nah.
I think I've got the gist of this. Nothing's gonna change. I'm sure there's not gonna be some new element that's gonna be introduced. Like, oh, you can now. There's no. This, I think I've had enough, and I think I put 34 hours into my game.
I put 40, I want to say 45. I want to say pushing 50 hours on this game, beating it.
Okay.
Because I kept getting stuck, and then I spent a little while grinding in Rohan to try to like get like certain skills. So like I spent a good long minute, especially because there was a lot of times I clutched out of those like stun locks, and I would be like, oh shit, oh I did it, I got out of it, but
right.
I don't know, man. This is just, it's one of those games that's like, we always say this. This is like our shitty thing that we say. For the time.
What's the copium here?
For the time, it was a good idea. But like, I'm just really trying to process my head around like, what exactly made them think that, knowing that they only have the rights to the movies, knowing that they could have just literally put all 3 movies into JRPG format with the actual characters that you play as, like Frodo. You could have had separate characters where like you're going, like you couldn't even have had a level up. You could have had a JRPG where it's just a story in the battles and you level up and you don't level up. And you could have Frodo with the ring. He puts the ring on, but it takes away half his health, but he gets a free attack. Or you could have had a whole separate thing with Aragorn. Like all the characters you play as them in the game, like Aragorn, Gimli, Legolas, like Gandalf, they all have movesets, they all have abilities, they all have things, and they look so fantastical. And it's like, why couldn't I have just played a JRPG Lord of the Rings trilogy? Why did I have to play as random people 1 through 5? Why couldn't I just play through what you already coded them? Just let me play as the main characters, because I don't give a shit about these characters, and you're putting me through scenarios that are impractical when I'm going through the scenarios that these characters that you design have movesets, have skill points, have everything designed for. Just let me play with them. And then I wouldn't have to worry about that, because I feel like they did that only because EA released so many games in such a short amount of time. Like they released Two Towers, then immediately Return from the King, then immediately this, on top of all the handheld ports, on top of PC games, on top of just trying to cash in on a franchise, because they don't know how big it's going to be. Like Lord of the Rings is still big. Like no matter what, people are still going to, if it's Lord of the Rings, they're going to fuck with it. But like back then, I guess they didn't know if this was just a fad because of the movies, and after the movies are done, nobody's going to fuck with this. And I felt like this game pisses me off only because it felt like it was not necessary. Like in theory, and that's why I put that other question up there at the thought table of like, what 2 games or franchises will make a good crossover? Because JRPG or Final Fantasy and Lord of the Rings is a perfect on paper combination of
like the genre.
Like the genre of Lord of the Rings and JRPG. That's a beautiful concept in general. Like that's like, why didn't nobody ever think like how we just thought with Lord of the Rings and ARPG, where it's like, why hasn't nobody done that yet? So
that makes sense to me.
It makes perfect sense, but it's just executed so poorly that I just can't recommend it, even as like a nostalgia bait, or even as a, oh, you should play it because it's interesting, it's different. Like, no, like you better.
There's a lot of positivity about this game too. That's the interesting thing. Like I looked at a lot of reviews,
and people really like this game.
And I was like, what the fuck am I missing? Like, have you played it like this year, or are you just saying that like from what you remembered? Because this game is not entirely enjoyable. Like aside from like the cool, like the music is good, but then the fatigue started setting in for me probably after Rohan.
Yeah, that's the same spot. As soon as I got the Barbarian Girl, that's when it hit me. As soon as I had to put disc 2, and I said,
yeah. Like I was like, that's it, huh? That's all there is. There's no more, is there? And there's a whole nother disc of this.
Right. As soon as you just do that shit and it goes put in disc 2, you're like, man, we're gonna be doing this shit for another 20 hours. Shit.
Yeah. I was like, oh fuck. I honestly have fond memories of it, and it reminds me of barbecues. And I really thought that there was more to this game. I thought that when I was younger, when I didn't finish it, I thought it was because it just got too hard.
Or you just ain't really know better
what I was doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought maybe I wasn't taking advantage of some things, but no. That's all there was to this game. And I think I just got bored with it too when I was younger. I was like, this is too hard for no reason.
Just go play this, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go play fucking Choroku or something. I'll fuck that shit.
Yeah.
But
like that's how I feel with this game, where I'm thinking about it and I'm like, even back then, before I was like a JRPG fanatic, because now we've played JRPGs. We've played dozens of JRPGs. So like we understand the mechanics. We understand what's a good JRPG, what's a bad JRPG, what constitutes the in-between, what works, what doesn't work, what we like to see, what ideas were cool but weren't executed poorly. But like this doesn't have anything original. There's nothing original about this game. It's a coat of paint. It's Lord of the Rings painted over Final Fantasy, and it's very derivative in every aspect. Like upgrading skills doesn't feel good. Like I would have rather they just copied the skill grid too at this point, because what was the point of having to use the abilities when I only have a 3-player party, and most of the time some of these people don't even attack during the party. Like some people, like Barathor, a lot of the times he's in my party, but like he would never get an attack because everybody else would do everything, and he would finally get an attack. I'm like, well, it's the last person, just kill it. I'm not about to use company valor and buff us all up so you can attack one more time. No, like
it's almost an insult to Final Fantasy X to compare it to this, because it's so derivative and so bare bones. And I really would like to know what the development cycle or development time was. I want to know how much time they actually had, and if it was just a bunch of uninspired people putting out an uninspired product, and then trying to compare it to one of the greatest, turn-based games
all time
of all time. So it's just like, nice try. Fucking trying to be slick and say some shit like that, like our audio is better, but the game itself isn't, so what does it matter?
Here we go. Here's a good one for you. It's like how Batman Arkham Asylum copied Assassin's Creed but improved and iterated on that, and you're like, that's cool,
innovated.
And then Mad Max does it and you're like, this shit is lame.
You know what, I have not. I actually have Mad Max, and I've played a little bit of it, and I actually really liked it. But I don't know. I've heard that opinion about it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, like I mean, it's like if you play it now, you'll probably be like, oh yeah, cool, because you don't play Assassin's Creed all the time. But like at the time when like you have Assassin's Creed coming out and also Batman coming out, and this is not the only one. You got other games that use that Y to counter like.
Lord of the Rings
system.
or
Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah,
that also was out around the same time too, by the same fucking company. So it's like, I'm not gonna press Y to counter with Mad Max. I don't care that much.
Do you have anything else to say about Lord? Like
I love Lord of the Rings, but I hate this game. And
we would not recommend it. I don't think.
It's only because. Not because there's better options now, but because there was better options that was dropped the same year. Lord of the Rings, like Return of the King dropped the same year. I would just play Return of the King. I can play Two Towers. Like the thing, like that's what makes Shadow of War and Mordor such a wonderful game, Lord of the Rings game, because they give you a ring of power. They give you the tools and abilities to do shit that you would not do in Lord of the Rings. I'm this dude. I can't die. I can turn invisible, and I can brand people and use elven dark magic. That's cool. I want to do that. But like retreading through the entire story of the trilogy, which we already just watched because it's so popular at this time, which we already just played with the games that sold millions of copies at this time. So of course I played through the games as well. Why the fuck would I want to play through another game that runs through the same story I just watched and just played through again?
Yeah, I think it just has, the only thing that really has going for it is novelty.
Yeah.
It's the only Lord of the Rings game that's turn-based, and it's always interesting to see like how a licensed game manages like, the whole RPG thing. And I just don't think, I mean, they didn't do it well, but if you're a huge Lord of the Rings fan and love turn-based games,
you got nothing else Lord of the Rings wise to play, or at least on the GameCube if you have no other JRPGs to play. This is a JRPG you could play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the GameCube doesn't have many JRPGs.
You got the Benton Chaos and the Lost Kingdom games, Fire Emblem. And that's it in this game.
So there's slim pickings there. So I'm sorry, I just wouldn't recommend this game. I don't think it's even just me being, we've played some shitty games this season now that I'm thinking about it.
But in theory, like when we picked up the boxes, we were like, yeah, this is a game right here. And then but I
guess that's the point.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we're like, oh yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, let's play it. Oh my God, no.
Because State of Emergency. Yeah. Like State of Emergency was one of those ones where I didn't know nothing about that game. I just always saw the cover and was like, nobody talks about this. It's not on no PlayStation 2 Classics on PSN. Or well, Choroku was
It's
different. Choroku was different. That one was very
I
unique.
didn't.
That one was beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, Chorokyu is one of my top picks of all time. I
What the
love that
fuck
game.
else did we play? Fear Effect was different too. Fear Effect was great. That
I do
shit
think
out.
about a lot of the games we play, and that some of the ones I didn't finish. Like I think about going back to Chorokyu and trying to do that Grand Prix. I think about going
Batman.
back to Final Fantasy 12 all the time.
Yeah,
And I
man.
think
But
about
I keep saying the same thing. But if I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna play the original PlayStation 2 version, and I'm
that's
like,
yeah, same.
I don't know if
Just
I'm
like a
ready.
background game, and really
Yeah.
just slowly going through it. Hold on. I think my audio just stopped recording.
It said your time is up. My time is now.
It did stop recording. When did
That's
it
all
stop
good. That's why I have
recording?
the backup.
Okay, good. It will sound different, I'm guessing, but we'll be fine. We'll
Don't
figure
fix
it
it.
out. So
You want to get sentimental?
oh yeah. Shit. Yeah, guys, thank you. So you know what? Let us know what you guys think about Lord of the Rings. Like, are we being too hard on it? Like, what are we not seeing? What's the magic here aside from the novelty?
Because it'll be just our
And
luck that everybody's like, bro, this is one of the best Lord of the Rings games of all time. And we're like, what?
yeah, like I don't know. I don't know if we're just too jaded or we play too many games or something, but I'm just not seeing it, and I want to know what people like. If we could get someone like that Russian dude who who like dissected everything we said in the comments and like wrote the longest comment in YouTube I've ever seen.
Bro, that
If
was
we can
so
get someone like that.
inspirational. When I saw that comment, I was like, yo, this nigga really watched, bro. Like, he was
Yeah, like
watching, bro. He was writing notes as he was watching. Like, oh, yeah, they talked
he
about
had
this.
to have been.
Bro, 'cause,
Yeah,
like,
he
he had
had
to
to have been.
pause, write his shit, and then keep. I was like, yeah, this, I fuck
That's
with
a
him.
fan.
I fuck with
Yeah.
him. I need all y'all
But
to do that from here on out. He set the tone. You can't
yeah,
not
everybody
do that
has
now.
to do.
You gotta write your notes as you're going along.
Yep. Sean has to do
Listen,
it because I know he usually comments on all of our stuff.
Elise gotta do it.
Yeah,
She
at
can't
least,
just
yeah, at
be, she
least
can't just
gotta
go to
do
you
it.
and be like, hey, that was good, man. That's really awesome, man.
Dev has to do it.
Devin, no, she only watch it if I'm watching it. Like, I'll be watching on like Sunday mornings, and she'll be like, this is really good. Did you edit this? And I'm like, yes, you've walked in on me 17 times editing this, and I've said I can't go out. I have to edit this podcast. The fuck are you talking about? Like
Did you edit this?
Like right now, she's like, why did you take it so long to record the podcast? I'm like, nigga, it's 4 hours. We had to talk before, prepare, edit,
Yep.
talk, start talking, and then we get sidetracked talking about you. Now look at us.
This is all metaphor. She's like, wow. She's gonna watch this part.
Only this part. I'm gonna put it on
Yeah.
and have it in the back. This is when she walk in the house. I'm gonna be like,
look at this. Yeah. Thank you guys. Another season completed. I guess technically the season is done, but there's gonna be a bonus Halloween special as we like to do. So look forward to that. I don't think we're gonna include. Well, we'll include that in the back of the rack awards that we'll do at the end of the year. But I don't think we're gonna include it as like, I don't know. Should it be a part of the season? Because no, right?
technically, Resident Evil was part of the season. Technically. Like if we counted in the awards show, it's got to count for the season.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair. But it just feels so weird because it's released, 3 months after no episodes? You know, like no like main like back of the rack episodes. It's really like it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, because see,
know,
we thought about the idea of like, okay, now bam, now season 3 after a month. But then I was like, but then we thought about it. He was like, because then that sets the precedent that we got to do 2 seasons a year. And
Yeah,
that's not
that's
fun.
a lot of.
I don't think
that's
y'all
a lot
understand. These games aren't fun.
We're suffering, and then playing like any games we want to enjoy. It's better to play it ahead of time and then release it like we had been, like really planned out. I feel like that was the better I mean, so we're still going to be playing games behind the scenes, and then
Yeah.
you're just going to see
Just gonna get it later.
the episodes. Yeah, you're going to get it later next year. So that way you get a 6-month period of episodes each month. We're going to be releasing content after too, though. There's going to be maybe a new Sondi Selects, maybe Back to Back Digital. It's going to be the Halloween special. There's going to be There's going to be stuff.
You're not just gonna be like, all right, y'all, see y'all next year. It's gonna be
We're not going to disappear completely. There's going to be content, and it's just going to be not the main podcast.
Yeah, because the step is expanding. That's the next steps, is expanding, getting different types of content, working on perfecting this and this green screen and doing all this stuff, like trying to actually work on the craft, work on making sure we can make a coherent podcast that you're not like, the fuck are they talking about?
You know what? The green screen, though, I don't know if I want to keep doing it, man.
We got to just drop a like.
I don't know.
Right
like
there.
we have to either. We just can't. We need like the exact same setup, the exact same lighting.
And it's funny because we have the exact same green screen, but they have two different colors. Like if I could,
Yeah.
let's show unedited right here. Just look at this shit. Now look at appreciate.
Like
how
there's
much
a
editing we went
difference.
through.
I mean, we have different lighting in our room, and it's just like very inconsistent and a hassle
I got
to
lights
try
and
and
shit.
So I think it's better if we just, for season 6 and probably for the any other future episode, we're just gonna do like the season 1 box that we did.
Yeah, make it a little bit cuter. Add a border or something to it. Add some flying shit
Yeah.
in the background.
We'll do. What are the colors gonna be for next season? Because the green might have been a bad idea. No, it's not. Like the yellow is
the green
iconic.
screen. Yeah, the yellow is high key iconic. Purple?
Purple's good.
Purple's
I
good.
was thinking like red for some reason.
That's a crazy color.
But what would that be better for like the 5th season?
What's the color
As we
of
do this-
2023? The color
do
of
this
next
for
year
5
is
years.
purple.
Really?
Yeah.
we could do purple. Green just felt like the matte background on like an unfinished piece of visual art, or like in
Yeah.
Adobe where you have like the gray and dark checkered.
Yeah.
So I kept thinking to myself like, green looks kind of cheap and like not like the most polished.
yeah,
but-
but we'll work on that stuff. That's what we taking this break for, so we can understand, we can analyze, assess,
Yeah.
think about
And
this.
you can go
all-
back and listen. See, I think what's cool too is that these episodes are timeless. Not everybody watches all of them, but it's
in
like,
order. It's just like you can watch them.
yeah,
binge it.
You can catch up. Exactly. Yeah. That's 12. We have 12 episodes out now.
We
man.
got 20 hours of content for you niggas, bro. What more do you want?
Yeah, and then we have our side shit too. And then
Yeah.
that's already like, how much side shit do we even have?
A lot.
Let's see. So,
I
not
got-
enough.
Not enough, but I mean, I'm just procrastinating off like 3 videos. And then we have
Dude, the Indivisible video for that didn't get. It's like the coolest looking thumbnail too. I worked so hard on that one.
That's because you didn't like Indivisible, so fuck you. That's karma.
I didn't. Is that how it came off?
That
like
knocked
it? Is
out
that-
Jet
was that
Set
the-
Radio out of my top 10. That's how great that game was, bro. It just took that
Really,
spot.
I was
It
I was
just-
gonna get you a Jet Set Radio shirt instead of the Sonic one
Jet Set Radio.
or the Tails one. I was so close. It was really hard to choose, and I was like, "Fuck, what do I do?"
Bro, speaking of that, I wear that shirt in Italy, and like this little kid, he was wearing a Sonic shirt, and I was like, and he saw my shit, and he was like, we both like he was like a little ass kid, like, and I was just like, and he was like, we both just like,
Check it. Yeah. I had trouble because I was like, I could do something. I didn't want to do like some generic, like Walmart tee of like Sonic or of Jet Set Radio because that's all they had. Was just like the whole image, and I was like,
slang,
nah.
yeah.
Let me get something a little bit more subtle, a little, you know, that he could pair with anything.
yeah.
That won't make him look 12. You know,
That won't make people think like, oh,
yeah, he's wearing a.
he's one of them blacks. Okay. Doesn't help I have a white woman on my side. Oh, goddamn.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was thinking about how it would appear to people. So I was like, maybe a little like 3D retros looking Sonic as opposed to like the fucking,
Him doing
Sonic's
the-
like, yeah, like, yeah. No, that would have not been good.
Yeah.
I had Elise help me too. I was like, what should I? She's like, probably this one. I was like, yeah, I feel like his style. Like, I looked at your Instagram too. I was looking at like what you wear. So I was like, okay. I had to do some research. Yeah. So you wouldn't recommend it? I wouldn't recommend it. But we do want to thank everybody for riding with us on another season. Season 2. Fucking 2 years now. Or technically it's been a full year since we've been doing this because we started in March, the first season?
Yeah, I want to say March, like end of March. Yeah, last season.
Yeah, so it technically is only been like a year and like 2 months. But for all intents and purposes, this is the second year of Back of the Rack, and we thank you guys, especially for the last episode. You guys showed us a lot of love, a lot of newcomers. I think we got like 12, 15 new subscribers that pushed us to 104 people. So
beautiful.
We hope that you guys watch our other episodes and that you comment and leave any feedback. Join our Discord. How do they join the Discord exactly?
It'll be a link in the description. You just click the link. If you got Discord already on your computer or your phone or whatever, it should just pop up. Bloop, bloop, Back of the Rack. Press the button, join. You're in. That's it. I don't really know what to say. The Discord, we have like descriptions.
I didn't know if it was more involved or something.
Oh shit, I forgot. I'm recording on Discord. I was about to be like, let me go look at the Discord. But yeah, it's got all this stuff there for you. So if I have like different channels for the current episode, the next episode we're going to be recording, past episodes, video games. We talk a lot about music in there and art. Just general life stuff. I'm trying to get it more active, so just
I added a channel. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah,
I added a channel.
I wanted to post some. I wanted to post some Tumblr, VHS.
You should have.
CRT.
I mean, I'm just gonna put like a bunch of stuff in there and try to find like artwork from video games that I love, or maybe some CRT stuff. But I just thought it was funny because I was like, wait, because I wanted to post a picture and I was like, where do I put this? Because there's like media and then there's music and then so I was like, I'm just gonna put art curated by Bendezzer. There you go. Maybe someone will enjoy it. I don't know.
Somebody like, that's my favorite channel.
I love that. I never say anything, but I love it. I just lurk in that channel. But so thank you guys. Really appreciate all the support, all the comments. That Russian dude in the last episode, we love you. I hope you keep watching. I know the thing with our content is that it's not based on a specific series or a specific type of like platform or something. So we get fans from all over. We get a bunch of like Warriors Orochi fans or people that love Chorokyu but like don't know about any of the other games. So it's like it's so scattered, because we get people that like, oh, I'm here because you guys are talking about this. Nigga, I didn't know that you guys talked about like Fear Effect or like something else. Right. So
we just want you guys to have an open mind like we have when we play these games, because we're the same way. I didn't know about Chorokyu, didn't know about Fear Effect, I didn't know about any of the games this year that we played. It's just kind of just off of box art and just play them, and okay, that was cool. Yep.
Definitely a collector's podcast, I would say, for people that are interested in playing things from the past.
Definitely emulate them if you don't have the money for them, because some of them I wouldn't pay for them again.
Yeah, I would return them. I want my money back on some of these games.
If I didn't have this shitty nuance of being like, I'm not trading in nothing anymore, I would have been traded this shit in.
Seriously, like some of these games, I feel like I need to be paid to play them. Like they should have paid me, honestly, on some of this stuff. But so make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. Sondi we have separate Twitter accounts. But Sondi's far more active on there, so definitely follow him because he'll update you on shit.
I'll talk about Street Fighter and One Piece. Fuck with me.
And yeah, and then you can follow us on Instagram. I'm pretty active on there. We don't get a lot of engagement, but we're still trucking along. And then definitely just jump in the Discord, talk about the games you want. Maybe give us a suggestion. We'll look into it.
We do have a suggestion channel. I think that is something we should do for next season. We should have a roulette. Run it. We'll put in everything that everybody suggests in that wheel, and just play it. Play whatever we get.
Oh, like have like the 6th episode be like the special.
Or have a random special episode. Like on top of the Halloween, just have like a viewer's choice.
Yeah, I like that.
Play Doki Doki Literature Club or some weird visual novel, Princess Maker 2 or something.
So we can suffer through that.
Yeah.
Although I have heard that Doki Doki Literature Club is like good story wise. So.
Nah, seriously, you would fuck with Princess Maker 2.
What? Princess Maker 2?
Yeah, Princess Maker 2.
I'm gonna have to look.
We'll talk about this after the podcast.
Yeah,
okay?
but Princess fucking Maker 2. Okay, but thank you guys. Peace out.
Ciao.